here. It's big, and it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name's Bart Hansen. As always, I'm joined by David Tuckman. Dave, it's Monday night. It's limit night, and we're moving up in limits. We're going to be doing a 20-40 limit game. Now, we haven't had this size game on the show in many months.
Yeah, it should be real exciting.
Months and months and months for all those people that were kind of whining about 8/16's a little too small.
Yeah.
Can you keep bringing it up? Whining in a good way, I'm saying.
Right, well, the exciting thing about 2040 is, 1530, 2040 is really the starting point where a lot of professional poker players make their
And
living.
this, of course, you see a lot of professional limit players here at the table. So let's get to the table.
Let's do it.
And let's go around and introduce the players.
Well, seat one, we've got Peter. And Peter's a local pro. And looks like he's been here for a little while. Seat two, we've got Reno. And Reno's just buying into the game. We'll get his chips in a second. Real friendly guy. Seat three, we've got Maury. And Maury, also a local pro. Used to spend a lot of time in Vegas playing at the Mirage in their old days.
I got to tell you, I think that Maury is probably by far the strongest player at the table. Reno, I respect his game as well in seat two.
Seat four, we've got Matthew.
Yeah. Now we know Matt. He's been on the show before in the No Limit
Matthew
games.
usually plays No Limit, but he said, hey, why not? I'll play it. What's the point?
Right.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
He's actually a mathematician.
That's right.
Math teacher.
Teaches at Loyola.
Yeah. Seat five, we've got Robert Adams. And,
Robert's new to the show.
Yeah, don't know much about Robert. We'll see what he does. Seat six, we got Yuri. And Yuri, I've played a lot with Yuri. He's kind of he's a pretty solid player.
Makes a lot of moves.
He makes a lot of moves,
Yeah.
but he also gets paid off.
Yeah.
See how he does tonight. Seat seven is Nick. And Nick's just buying into the game, and he'll get his chips in a second. As he's reading his release form, I think. Seat eight, we've got good old Patty.
Patty, if people remember her, she plays here often, every day.
Yeah, if Grace is action, Patty certainly is as well.
Although I respect Patty's game more than Grace's game.
Well, it's not like unbridled aggression.
Right.
She has some sort of clue, I think.
Right.
Seat nine, we've got Joe Wynn. And, Joe's actually... His roots are in Limit Hold'em.
That's right. Yeah.
His roots are in Limit Hold'em, and we've seen him play No Limit oftentimes, and he's actually not been doing very well in No Limit, which happens to a lot of new No Limit players that come from a Limit background.
I love this because it gives me a chance to see how players that I sometimes play with every day, although I haven't been playing Limit recently, how I think that they're players, and now when I get to see them cards, what they're really playing.
Yeah.
And again, though, I still think that Maury's pretty much the strongest at the table over there in seat three.
Yeah, if I had to put money on one player, I would definitely put it on Maury. Joe Wynn in seat nine, he's actually a really good player when he gets his mind up.
He plays a lot of hands, and again, you and I kind of go with the mantra of the tighter the better in Limit Hold'em, really.
Yes.
You can pretty much play at ABC at any level and win.
Yeah.
So the first hand of the night here, the button's over in seat four. And this one's going to get chopped up here.
Yeah.
Between the
and you'll
small
see,
and
they will chop up in this game. Unlike No Limit, they will chop up if it goes around.
And actually, I don't think they chopped it up. I think seat six said he doesn't chop. So
oh,
he just
okay.
folded.
Actually, you're right. I know Yuri does not chop.
Yep.
He's here to play poker. How was your weekend?
Good, Dave. We had a lovely Super Bowl party at your house. Hey, what was my prediction, my score for the...
You actually said 21-14.
Pittsburgh.
21-14 Pittsburgh. Pretty darn close.
Yeah.
I was quite disappointed with the game. I thought I thought Seattle kind of blew a lot of chances, and I really thought the referees can't hand it to Pittsburgh.
Now, the yellow chips in this game are $5 chips, and we're doing a 4-8 chip structure game, just like the 8/16 game, but this is 20-40, so it's the same type of thing here.
You get a lot of chips on the table here.
Yeah.
And the pots look big, and the action's usually pretty good.
Now, Maury is limped in here with a 9-10 of spades, and I want to make a comment about this after this hand. Now, Yuri's going to need to spread his cards here. We got 4-5 offsuit, 9-10 of spades, and I believe the blinds here.
Well, so Yuri's got 10-7 of diamonds here.
Okay.
Interesting flop for him. He's got a flush draw here. But Maury's got the best hand with second pair.
You know, Yuri came out and bet, and Maury raised with second pair. And Yuri has called. So here we go. We're heads up. Turns a 3. Now Maury has a flush draw. And he's going to bet.
And he's going to bet. And this is pretty straightforward limit hold'em play. If
Right.
both players miss the river, it'll probably go check, check.
Well, the river's a spade.
Wow.
Maury's made a backdoor flush.
Well, that'll
And
make
Yuri
more.
can't even pay it off, though.
Right.
He missed everything.
And Maury will bet that. Now, what I was saying, now let's say the river was, say, the 4 of clubs.
Right.
It would probably go check, and Maury would probably check behind.
Now, it looked like there. Now, Maury was in late position, and Joe Wynn. This is kind of one of the things I'll get after Joe. It looked like he might have limped in under the gun here with 4-5 off suit, I think. And if he was in the big blind, then I'm mistaken. But if he was in the big blind, I would have loved to have seen Maury maybe open that pot for a raise of 9-10 of spades instead of limping one off the cutoff with 9-10 of spades.
Well, I'm trying to see what's going on here.
New
Yeah,
player
he
in
was
C8.
actually.
He was the big blind.
He was
okay.
big blind with 4-5.
So Maury limped,
Open limped.
limped with 9-10 of spades, mid to late position. I mean,
rather than raising it up.
yeah, I mean that's. But the only problem I have with Maury's game is that he'll often play hands from up front that I don't necessarily think are
Right.
worth anything, like 8-9 of spades, 4-5 of clubs, limp under the gun. But
Yeah,
besides that, I
He
really
likes to, he
respect
does
his
like
game.
to play a lot of pots, and I was talking to Maury about it. And
Yeah.
He says, you know what, there are a lot of weak players out there, and I really want to. I feel like I can outplay them when the flop comes out. So, and when he says outplay him, he thinks they make mistakes that he won't make, and that's where the money's made in this game. That's his opinion, at least.
Now Yuri made a raise here on the button with King 3 off suit. There was some dead money in there, and Peters called him with pocket sixes. So our heads up, big blind against pre-flop
Oh,
raiser. And look
wow.
at Yuri, he's flopped trip threes.
And that's a good flop for sixes. I mean,
And Peters come out and bet, and Yuri's going to slow play it. He's just going to call. He just calls with trip threes here. Here we go to the turn. Turns a queen. Now, I know Peter, he's probably going to shut down. Oh, he's going to come out and bet again. And now, if he does get raised, you know, the funny thing is, against
problem is it's Yuri, though.
yeah, regular player, you could easily throw sixes away, but Yuri could easily just be making this move with ace-king.
Yeah.
But Peter
Especially
folds
if he
it.
picked up a flush draw. Let's say
Right.
Yuri had, ace-10 and ace-jack of clubs.
Right.
Yuri would make that move.
So again, Yuri is a mover and a shaker when it comes
Shaker
to
and a
limit,
mover, yeah.
limit hold'em. Again, against normal opponents, which it's about 95% of the people you see at the mid-level, that's an easy fold with pocket
Yeah, I mean,
sixes.
the only thing I will say is obviously we've been showing a lot of 6, 12, and 8, 16 limit hold'em.
Right.
And in those games, if somebody's raising a turn,
Right,
one pair is rarely
Rarely
good.
right.
But
But in this game, you tend to play more of the player, right?
yeah, in this game you will see once in a while people will make moves. Now it's still few and far between, though.
Right. Of course, if you want to email us, you can email us at live@thebike.com or check out a live thread that's started on the internet. Go to 2plus2.com spelled out, click on forums, World Poker Tour, and other televised tournaments. Seat 7's going to open here. He posted behind the button,
That's Nick.
and he's going to bring it for a raise in the cutoff with ace-6 offsuit. Okay, he's going to bring it open. And Reno's going to defend his blind with 10-9 offsuit. And Reno hits top pair. Let's see how he's going to play it.
Well, Nick's got a little piece of it.
And it looks like we got a bet and a call. Here we go to the turn. The turn's a jack.
It doesn't change anything here.
Reno is checked, and Nick is bet again, and Reno calls again. And then once again, this probably will go check on the river. Well, the river's a king. You wonder if Nick continues to bet here. No, he's just going to check behind it.
Yeah, well, and I like the check there. You know why? I mean, on the river there, can you get a hand better than yours to be laid down?
Well, in this case, maybe. 9-10. Do you think Reno would have called the river there with 9-10? What can he beat?
Good point. It's a good
You know.
point. Right, no longer can beat ace-queen even.
And again, you were talking about, like, if I was playing in Nick's spot there, I know it's Reno who's playing against me. Solid player, pays attention to the cards. Some of the rich businessmen that we often say play in the 20 and the 30 game, well, they're going to call down with any one pair.
Oh, they
so
might even
sometimes
put out a
you,
4.
you just check it down, hope you win with ace-6.
Yeah,
You're not going to
exactly.
get anybody off of a hand there. Button moves over here to seat 1. Again, we're playing 20-40 limit hold'em. And Joe Wynn's got jack 6 of clubs. He's going to pop it up in the cutoff. He's going to raise. Maury's got jack 4 off suit, and Joe Wynn is going to take it down there. So this game is a little bit tight to start, Dave. Obviously, we're going to notice that more in games usually. You know, funny, 20-40 is a much tougher game here at the casino than I think the 30 game is.
Yeah,
I don't even think it's
obviously
close.
depending on the lineup.
Right,
yeah.
right. But usually you'll see more tough competition in the 20 game than you will in the 30 game.
Thank you.
Button moves over here to seat 2. Ace-king here for seat 5. He's under the gun. And that usually calls for a raising hand here. Actually, it's seat 6. Yuri's got the ace-king.
Yeah, ace-king is... I mean, I would venture to say that ace-king in any position in limit hold'em is an automatic race.
Now, Joe Wynn has got king-queen offsuit. Let's see how he's going to play. He's going to 3-bet. He's aggressive. I almost like that move better than just a cold call. Yeah. I usually fold that hand to a solid early position raiser. But again, you're playing against Yuri, so you never know.
This is a late position raise. Well, it's kind of a mid-position raise, I should say.
Well, Yuri raised under, like, in second spot here. Now, Joe's got the second nut flush draw.
Yeah.
10, deuce, 4. And can Yuri take any heat with an ace-king offsuit here to this board? 10, deuce, 4 with a couple diamonds.
No,
and
he
just
throws it
folds.
away.
Yep.
And Joe earned himself a pot there.
Right. There you go. Button moves over here to Mori.
Shows him the king of diamonds. Big smile on his face. Yuri's less than impressed. Once again, we are live at the bike. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hanson. You're watching Limit Hold'em, folks. And the limits are 20-40.
Button there is over again with Mori in seat number 3. King-queen here for seat 8. Let's see if... We got a limp here by Yuri with ace-8 offsuit here. Seat 8 limps with king-queen. And we got a raise out of the big blind. Seat 5 with king-10 offsuit, Dave. Wow. This is the type of thing that I'm going to love tonight, seeing some of these cards. So the raiser is in the big blind with king-10 offsuit. Here we go to the flop 4 ways, double-sized bet. 4, 5, 7 here, and Matthew in seat number 4 in the small blind has flopped a straight.
Now he had limped in and then gets the raise.
And everybody checked. Now the turn is 6. And now Yuri's going to chop it up with him.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
He was looking for a check raise there, obviously. And I actually like the bet right into the raiser and get and then you get the raise anyway. If the guy's got aces or kings, hey, he's going to 2-bet it. I can 3-bet it then.
Well, yeah, but the other way of thinking about it is you want to build yourself a pot with the nuts, and you think he's going to bet, so you check.
Get everybody to call.
Yeah, get everyone to call, then
of course,
check.
Yes.
Now, Matt came out and bet, and Yuri raised. So here we go to the river. The river's a 4.
And they chop it up.
Yeah, this is going to go check call, and they're going to chop it up.
You got a boat? No. Huh?
Chop it up. Yeah.
Hey, Matthew goes, you got a boat? No. You got the nuts? No. Okay, let's chop it up.
But you can see what I'm talking about.
Oh, of course,
I don't necessarily want to drive other people out when I flop there.
Right. I see what you mean there.
Get the pre-flop raisers right to my left.
Right,
yeah,
and if you bet and the ace is next to you, well, the represented ace is next to you, raise it, drives everybody else out, and then you get nobody else in.
And then an obvious bet out there with the nuts is if the raise came from a late position raiser on the button. Say it was limp, raise on the button.
Right.
You call.
No,
now you absolutely bet because you don't want to check raise the guy who's going to bet.
You don't want to try to
on the flop.
No, you're 100% correct. The more I think about it,
yeah.
Since in that case the raiser was the big blind,
right.
You want to let him lead out.
Right. Button moves over there to Matt in seat 4.
Now, limit hold'em obviously is a lot more, I want to say technical in the sense of, you're pretty much, you can almost be on autopilot sometimes when you're playing this game.
Right.
I mean, is there ever a time that you would open a limp with ace-king? I mean, you're the first to enter a pot. Is there ever a time you would not raise ace-king?
Some people do that, and some people do it with ace-queen offsuit, but those hands I don't necessarily think play all that well, strong multi-way for you to do that.
Queen's here for Pete in seat 1.
He's going to open it up for a raise. Seat 5 is going to call with Jack 6 of diamonds, and seat 6 is going to call on the blind with Jack 8 of clubs. So Peter's got the overpair. Queen Jack 7, Peter flops top set. And Yuri is going to bet here with middle pair and no heart. Peter raises, and if Yuri was just making a move, he probably should just fold here, shouldn't he? Now Robert's got middle pair. Can he make a cold call?
Well, the only thing is if you put
and Yuri calls.
Would Peter make this move with say Ace King of hearts?
Yeah.
Ace King with the Ace of hearts.
Well, the turn's a heart.
Well, now it's an easy fold, obviously.
Gets checked. Peter bets again, and Yuri
folds.
Is going to fold. Yeah.
I mean, in limit hold'em, obviously being so much different than no limit. would you raise in position there with a high heart, say the king of hearts or the ace of hearts?
Possibly, if you had ace king with the ace or king of hearts.
Right.
So, Donna, we're going to get a movie offer.
Or even say ace 10 with, say, the ace of hearts. I mean, any of those games.
Right.
Spielberg or,
And we've got a couple of good players at the table. We might see some straightforward play here. Game might play a little tight to start off with.
Email here from Damian Edwards. Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. What are your feelings about showing cards when a player doesn't call a raise? Do you believe you should ever show a bluff? Do you think you should always muck your cards or other times show them? Well, I think it depends on the situation. I don't necessarily know if he's referring to limit hold'em or any form.
Yeah, I mean, I would venture to say that if you took the rule of, say, 99% of the time you never showed your cards, you would be fine. You don't want to give your opponents free information. Now, once in a while, if you're setting your opponent up or setting somebody else up by showing, okay.
Yuri raised here with Jack 5 of hearts, and Richard called in the blind with Jack 9. And this probably is going to go check fold. Richard checks.
Oh, Yuri raising
bets.
it up with Jack 5.
Yeah, on the button.
He loves the button steal. I know that.
Well, you got to look at the type of player that's in the blind. If you've got very, very tight players that aren't going to defend their blind a lot, you can almost raise it with any 2 cards and have positive expectation. Now, I'm not a big fan of defending my blind, so maybe people, look at that and raise me a lot in that position.
And you've got to realize that oftentimes there is obviously a positive expected value there because even if you get called and your opponent misses the flop, well, then he's more often than not going to have to check to you. You can bet and he'll probably fold anyway.
Right. Now, I guess Patty's out of the game.
Yeah, she got up. Richard took her spot.
Who set it out?
Now, we got high Broadway here on the button. Queen 10 offsuit. Wow, he's not going to bring it in for a raise.
On the button?
He folds. And the small blind completes with Jack 4 of hearts, and Joe's got ace 10 offsuit, and he's going to raise.
And I guess they're heads up here, and they decide they also do not chop it
I mean, obviously, that's an easy raise for Joe in the big blind.
Of course it is.
Now, Richard's got a flush draw here. He checks.
Joe's still in the lead here with ace high.
Joe's going to bet. Let's see how Richard's going to play it. He is going to check raise. And look at Joe's going to 3-bet.
I never really understood the check raise with the draw play.
Well, they're heads up, so he might just be trying to maybe get him off of the hand.
What do you do now?
Oh. Here we go to the turn.
Okay, now you've
And
missed.
look at this. Now Joe's got top pair.
Right, but now you've missed. I mean, whatever, no matter what Joe has, now you've missed and you're forced to check again anyway.
And he check calls again. Now Richard needs a jack or a heart here, and the river's a 4.
No, it's not going to do it. He makes a pair, but that's obviously no good.
Now, to me, this is an easy check fold here. People say, well, the pot's so big in limit. Could Joe do this with ace-king the whole way? Well, maybe if it's Joe win, as we got another bet in here.
Well, would Joe have kept betting with ace-10 if he hadn't hit his pair? Probably. But in this case, obviously, had it. Now, and the only reason I bring up the check raise and the draw play, rather than why not just bet right into your opponent? Because by check raising, okay, first of all, you charged yourself more for the draw. And against a really good player, might Joe just smooth call there if he's got a real hand and raise you on the turn when you bet into him again? Because what are you going to do if you check raise him? Whether you hit or not, you're going to have to bet the turn, right?
Well, and then, also, too, chances are someone who's raised is probably going to have overcards. So they're not going to fold to a check raise. There's just no way, especially heads up.
Right, there's no value there.
Right.
And now you have to bet into them and hope they just have overcards and not an overpair.
Now, Yuri open limped here with ace-6 offsuit. Second, one off the cutoff. And Joe Wynn raised it up with king-jack offsuit. Peter's called with ace-jack in the big blind. And everybody's missed the flop.
Yeah.
Queen 8-3 rainbow.
More often than not, they all miss. And Joe does not bet out of the small blind.
And everybody checked it. Turns a 9.
Well, Joe's picked up a draw here.
And he's checked again. And here we go to the river. The river is an 8.
Wow, an ace high is good here.
Peter's hand is good. But now Joe's going to bet. And now, Peter, he's got a guy behind him. Because Peter might think that his hand's good here with ace high. He's going to get rid of it.
Wow. It's funny. I mean, all the time we see in Limit Hold'em somebody throw that away. But it's kind of, if you go back to the no limit, the same theory of what would Joe raise out of the small blind with? Check, check, and then bet.
Well, you can see that Joe's aggressive nature has won him a couple of pots here so far.
Well, it's one of the reasons Joe, he'll often have 5 or 6 racks of chips, or he'll be
Right.
broke.
There's Matt over there.
Do you show your cards when you're playing Limit Hold'em often?
Sometimes I do.
Once in a while, but
Yeah,
rarely, right?
Rarely. And I don't really show bluffs in Limit Hold'em.
So basically, if you're showing your cards, basically every time you don't show your cards, you're bluffing, and every time you do show them, you have the real thing?
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
It's good to know.
King Queen suited here for seat 5. That's a raising hand, I would say, to open the pot up. And let's see if seat 5 is going to
Yeah,
raise.
from back up here.
He's just going to limp. And seat 7's got the same hand. He limps with King Queen as well.
Wow.
Offsuit.
In late position, too.
Yeah, three-way action here. King Queen, and 6-8.
Oh.
Now Reno's got middle pair here. He's going to come out and bet it.
Now, this is the question
And
here.
seat 5 raises with overcards.
You
Reno
play
calls.
King Queen slow before the flop. You miss it completely, and then you raise.
Turns a 5. And it's a check call here again by Reno.
I don't think Reno's going anywhere here.
Nope. River's a deuce.
Well, is that a scary card for Reno? Was the guy raising with maybe a flush draw?
Well, now that's what Reno's thinking about here.
Yeah.
The diamond came at the end. I can't beat the flush. I can't beat the 9. But he's going to pay it off.
Yeah. And Robert lost the maximum on that hand, huh?
And then again, more often than not, sometimes in Limit Hold'em on the river, you have to think to yourself, I mean, at that point, on the pre-flop, it was 3 small bets. Now you've got a bet and a raise, so now it's 7 small bets. A bet and a call on the turn, so that's 11 small bets. And then a check, he bets. So now it's 13 small bets. And you have to call 2 small bets on the river.
You're getting 6.5 to 1.
6.5 to 1. Could this guy be bluffing 1 out of every 6.5 times?
Yeah, to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right. I mean, that's usually why you don't make you're not going to make a lot of money making big laydowns in Limit Hold'em. The interesting thing is if one of those players with King Queen had raised at pre-flop,
Right.
does Reno even get involved with 6-8?
Now this is funny. Matt is blind raised here. We don't allow a live straddle, and he has raised it up blind, but he's got ace-9. In ace-6 of clubs, the seat 8 just calls. Boy, if someone were to raise me blind under the gun, I would 3-bet with ace-6 of clubs.
Or throw it
in
away.
a heartbeat. Yeah.
Or throw it away. I mean, either way.
Yeah.
You're certainly not going to call.
Well, we're going to see 4-way action here. And actually, Matt's got 5-3. Maury's got ace-9. And the flop comes 7-3 deuce.
Well, Matt's outflopped them all.
Well, actually, Reno's led with queen-7. He's got top pair.
Okay, thank you.
But Matt's going to raise here with middle pair. And Reno
And
calls.
that's seat 4, by the way. Matt raising with 5-3.
Turns a deuce.
Reno's going to bet right into him, right?
Yeah, Reno bets and Matt calls. And the river here is a heart. Well, Reno's got that situation again, and it's just going to go check. And
Well-
Reno's going to take it down with queen-7.
The one problem with Matthew's hand there now is, okay, well, if Reno was betting his flush draw, he got there. What can I beat with 5-3 right now? I
Right.
can't beat a deuce. I can't really beat any 3. I can't beat a 7. I can't beat hearts now.
Right.
So. Kind of fun last night after the Super Bowl. We had a little small poker tournament at our house, my house last night, and I'd like to proudly say that I took home the honors.
Just call you the suck-out king, Dave.
Call me the winner, the one who takes it home.
Ace-Jack of spades here for C5. That's a hand I bring in for a raise also, but he just limps.
What place did you come in? I forgot.
Third.
Third place. Wow.
Right before your wife.
Yeah.
And then Isaac came in second. Limped around here. Now we're going to see 5-way action.
5 players.
Now, sometimes people actually in the small blind might raise with Jack 10 of diamonds. I don't usually do that to build the pot.
Yeah.
8-8-3 here.
I mean, Jack 10 of diamonds is one of those hands where, it looks prettier than it probably is, and from out of position,
Yeah.
it's just...
Now look at this. Seat 1 is bet with pocket 4s, and Reno has raised with pocket 6s.
That's a pretty solid play by Reno.
And
there.
we're heads up. Turns a king.
And Reno got out. He wants to get those overcards out.
Wow, and Peter's going to check call here.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's really surprising.
I remember there's...
River's an ace, and this is probably going to go check.
All right, let's see.
But 6s are going to take it down.
Super. 6s.
Yep.
I mean, you got to look at the flop there, 8-3. What is Reno raising you with? I suppose you could think Reno raises you with a 3 there.
Maybe ace-3. Maybe.
Now, funny little story about last night's poker game, actually. Isaac actually, the last hand of the tournament, Isaac moved all in with queen deuce. Queen Deuce. I mean, he listens to us for 3 hours a night for about a year now, right? I mean, I think our 1 year anniversary is coming right around the corner. For 1 year, and he goes broke on Queen Deuce.
Well, Dave, you cracked my aces with King Queen. Buttons over here in
I did,
C3.
Raise.
We're going to see a raise here by Reno. He's got pocket 10s. And the big blind's going to call with pocket 4s, and we're heads up
Now,
here.
what do you think about that play? Do you call, if you're in the big blind, do you call with any pair and a raise?
Ace, Queen, 5 on the flop. Check. Wow, and Robert's going to take one off here with this board with 4s. That's amazing.
Well,
Turns
if he
a
bets it,
jack.
if he bets it, he probably takes it down.
And Reno's going to continue to bet with 10s. And Robert's going to continue to call.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those cases where raising is it's raise or fold, folks.
And the river is an ace. Check.
And they're going to check it down here, obviously. Both players have 2 pair, but obviously Reno's 2 pair or higher.
I got to tell you, if a guy played the hand that way and then I saw him turn over 4s at the end,
Oh.
that's a target
Oh,
right
definitely.
for me, right there.
Well, you're looking at the flop.
Yeah.
Now, if Robert had raised that at any point, he takes it down. Now, that was my question for you is, okay, let's say you're in the blind.
Right.
Do you call a raise in the big blind with any pair?
Well, I guess it depends on where the raise came from and who it's comes from.
Okay. So you don't necessarily, it's not always. Because some people
gonna
will,
say
some
usually.
people will argue that their raise is 2 bets. You're in there for 1 small bet.
Right.
There's also a small blind in there. You're getting almost 3.5 to 1 on your money already with a small pair. Why not go?
Now,
for it?
Maury's opened it for raise with ace-9. Yuri has called in the big blind, and as has Robert. Now, Yuri had ace-king, and if Maury bets here, he might take the whole thing down. Again, Yuri's probably pretty familiar with the way that Maury plays.
Yeah.
Queen 4-7.
Well, you already played ace king a little slow here.
Turns a 7. Let's see if Maury continues to bet. No, Maury's going to take the card, and the river's a 5. And now Yuri's going to come out and bet with ace-king.
Wow.
And Maury's going to fold.
Now, I'll throw this at you. Yuri's betting at ace king there in the river.
Right.
Might you check to induce a bluff? I mean, is there any value to betting that? Are you going to get? Will Maury fold 9s or not 9s? Will he
I can
fold
see your
10s or
point.
jacks?
You know, there is some written material about how on the turn in limit hold'em you can check monsters to induce a bluff on the river. I got to tell you, I've never done that. I don't really think
I'm
it's
talking about checking the river
right.
there.
No, but what I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes a guy will check the turn in position so that somebody else might bite the river. I just say in limit hold'em, just jam it. I don't see what the point.
I
of that
agree
is.
with you. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering there in the river,
Raise.
do you think the way that hand was played, Yuri throws money in the river, does Maury get rid of a pair?
Like pocket 9s or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah. C2 raised there with ace-jack Reno, and he's going to take it down without a flop.
Thank you.
And this has been pretty solid play, pretty
Yeah.
ABC play
No.
so far.
Well,
We got a real exciting development for Wednesday night show. Our Wednesday night show is our
Yeah.
25-50 blind, no limit hold'em game. Minimum buy-in is $3,000, and we've got a couple of great guests.
Of course,
that are coming.
World Series of Poker 2005 champion Joseph Hacham.
Yes.
And I just got email confirmation. I emailed Kenna James this morning. He will be playing as well. And and Barry Woods will also be playing, so we'll see them two.
Wow.
Remember the last time they played each other many, many months
Battle
ago.
of the Titans
Right.
on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Wow, so we got the World Series of Poker world champion,
right.
Joseph Hashim there, Kenna James. Wow.
Yeah,
Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Don't miss it.
right.
4 players.
Limped around here 4 ways. Now, seat 9 there seat 9's in the big blind with King, Queen
That's
of Hearts.
Joe, and he did not raise.
Well, he's in the big blind.
We saw him earlier raising
Right.
King Jack and so forth, so he thought maybe he'd raise that.
Now, he's going to come out and bet here with an ace-4 queen board with 2 diamonds, and he just takes it down.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, I know if I'm in the big blind with a small pocket pair, and I get a raiser and at least 1 caller, well, then I can definitely always call,
Right.
just for the odds of hitting my set.
But you're right. Like, if you have pocket 3s or a low pocket pair and you don't flop a set, you're going to either have to outplay the person or just going to have to figure something out.
Right. Well,
know.
you've got to make sure that you're not going to lose more money on it. Because
Right.
the way you're looking at it, going, well, if I'm getting 3-1 if I only call one person, I'm getting 5-1 if I call two people right away. If I hit my set plus implied odds, you just got to be careful not to get caught up and lose too much and say pocket fours, like Robert did.
Limped around here 4 ways. Flop comes 8-8-4.
Oh, well, then Nick's flop trips.
Yep.
And limit hold'em, to me, it's very straightforward. You bet your hands.
Well, it looks like... I don't know if Nick is in the hand. Peter's got pocket aces in seat 9, and he did not raise out of the big blind.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Pocket aces in the big blind in seat 9 for... And we got deuce 4 and pocket aces in
Well,
the
right,
hand.
you're right. 10-8 is not in the hand.
Turns an 8,
Wow, he would have made quads.
and Peter's going to bet.
So Pete's got the absolute nuts here. He cannot lose the hand.
And seat 1's going to continue to call here with 4s.
Okay, 4 more all in.
Full house, and Peter's all in. Boy, what another reason. Why wouldn't you raise out of the big blind with aces if you're short for value, and the river's a 9? And he's going to turn over aces.
I mean, I remember when I got hammered for saying, I think I said there was one time in my life I didn't raise aces out of the big blind. But, I mean, maybe one time my entire life. I don't
Right.
really know any reason not to raise pocket aces out of the big blind.
Right. Button moves over there to seat 8, just in terms of value.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe the only time I wouldn't raise with pocket aces, I'm trying to think of a time, maybe if it gets checked around, the guy in the button raises and the small blind folds.
You mean just to
I can
play-
smooth call, I'm already heads up and I can
Right.
smooth call the button,
Right.
you know, to disguise my holding a little bit. But that's often used more in no limit than it would be used in limit
Right.
hold'em anyway.
And this one's going to get folded around to the blind, so they're going to chop it up.
$1, Joe? Thank you.
Button moves over there to seat 9. So again, we're playing 20-40 limit hold'em.
2040 limit hold'em, folks.
Small blinds and Peter in seat 1. Seat 3 there is in the big blind. That's Maury. I can see one ace in Maury's hand in seat 3. Maury's got ace queen of hearts.
In the big blind.
Now let's see if he's going to raise for value. Some people will, some people won't. Joe's got jack 6 offsuit on the button, and it's just going to get chopped up again.
Yeah.
And Maury says no steal. This game is playing really tight. This is a pretty tight 20 game right
It
now.
is.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's important. I mean, we know a lot of players. We know a few players that will only raise out of the big blinds, out of the big blind, with aces, kings, or queens.
Right.
I mean, that's it. And if you're only raising with those big pocket pairs, you're giving away an awful lot of information.
Right. Well, sometimes, like you said, you might actually pop it up out with a high suited connector or something. But you have to be prepared to maybe check some flops that you miss, because remember, it's limit hold'em.
Yeah, I mean, you can't outplay everybody, obviously.
Right.
But if you have ace, king suited, 4 or 5 players in there, why not raise it for value?
Now, seat 8 is raised here with queen 10 of spades. Now, and seat 5 is going to call with ace deuce offsuit in the big blind, and we are heads up. Well, flush drawn overcards for the pre-flop raiser. Richard bets, and Robert's got a pair, and he is going to call. Robert is actually ahead right now, but I want to say that Richard's probably a favorite with 2 cards to come. The turn's
Oh, there
a
it
queen,
is.
and now Robert's way behind.
You're
He's-
right. I mean, Richard had 9, he
Right.
had 15 outs there, which makes him a small favorite.
Bet and a call.
And now Robert needs a deuce or an ace that's not a spade.
Yep, here we go to the river. River's a 10, and now 2 pair here for Richard. And he bets again. And again, I mean, all Robert has is ace deuce. The only thing he can beat here is ace king, it looks like.
Yeah, oftentimes we see this in limit hold'em where players will convince themselves to make the call. They'll almost manufacture a hand that the other player
Right.
must have that he can beat,
And he does call.
and that's what he's done.
He does call. And seat 8's going to take it down there with queens up.
You know what I mean? We see that all the time where you see a hand like this and you go, well, what's the guy calling me with? Spades. Okay, well, maybe he hit his overcard. No, he still got spades. No, he missed.
I mean, there's an argument, and we saw 2 sides to the argument, because in Card Player magazine, I don't know, a couple issues ago, there were 2 separate articles about big blind play and limit hold'em, with 2 totally different opinions. One was by Matt Mantros, and then I forget who was the other writer. And Matt Mantrose, I wasn't really a big fan of his article where he says, you have odds to call with any 2 cards in limit hold'em against a late position raise. And if you hit bottom pair, I mean, you're going to stay in there, you're going to check raise with bottom pair, and when the guy has an overpair, he's going to raise you on the turn, and you're still going to stay in there? It just... I mean, I think the example he used was Jack high.
Yeah,
Jack
and
5
you talk
offsuit.
about Jack 5. It's
Right.
like, I mean, I'll tell you, against tough players,
Yeah.
if you really want to play with an inferior... Do I really want to put more money in the pot
Right.
against a good player when I have a bad hand and I'm out of position?
This one got folded around to Robert in the small blind. He completed, and Yuri raised with ace-queen of clubs. And Robert is going to check call here with king-6. Ace-queen is still in the lead.
Yeah. Well, I like the raise here. If you're going to play, why not raise that?
Turns of 5. And this one goes check, check, and the river's a jack. But ace-high is still good. And now Robert's going to come out and bet. Now, is Yuri going to call down with ace-high? He does
Wow.
not. Well, there you go.
Maybe that's a leak in my limit game. I'm not sure. But how do you not call that, though? You check the turn. You're inducing that bluff. The guy bluffs into you.
Well, you look at it, though. You look at the flop, and maybe the only thing you can beat is a busted draw, right? 3-4. I mean, what would you think the guy called you with on the flop?
But a lot of these players, don't a lot of these players take one off no matter what? I mean, we look at Robert. He's taking one off no matter what.
Right.
I mean, we just saw him earlier call down with pocket 4s.
Now, Matt has posted dead behind here in seat number 4. He's going to check. Matt needs to show us his cards in seat 4. So we have an under-the-gun limper.
4 players.
So we're going to see 4. Again, we need to see Matt's cards in seat 4. He's got 5-6 offsuit. And the flop comes 9-3-9. It's missed everyone. And Matt actually bets here.
Yeah,
late
I'll take it
position.
down. Wow.
And Richard's going to call here with ace-8. Wow.
Well, this is what I mean. I mean, players taking one off. What are you automatically in a limit game? Would you put him on a 9 or a 3? It's tough.
Turns of 4, and Matt's picked up a draw, and he checks right behind the turn, and the river's a 10.
All right, is Matt picking up?
And now Richard bets with ace-high. There you go.
Strange play. I
A
mean,
couple of interesting plays, yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of times that you and I will play in these limit games, and we think it's all, okay, well, this guy must have this. And then we
Right.
watch it,
Right.
and we're like, wow, what are they thinking sometimes?
Right.
It really is amazing. Now, I mean, I'll two schools for thought here. When you're thinking about no limit hold'em here, good players lay down winning hands all the time.
Right.
But in limit hold'em, I don't want to make a practice of that. Because bluffing is just too easy in this game. Because remember, you're only risking one big bet to win, say, 7 big bets oftentimes.
Raise on the button here by Yuri. He's going to take it down. He had queen 10 offsuit. And he does take it down.
I mean, sometimes when a pot has 13 or 14 small bets, and you've got to put in 2 small bets at the river to bluff at it. Remember, you only have to win that. Your bluff only has to be successful like 1 out of 6 or 7 times to make it profitable. So a good player is going to be bluffing a lot.
What do you think about all the Seattle whiners, Dave? Now look at that. Maury has mocked queen jack offsuit under the gun. And Matt is going to bring this one in for a raise in seat 4. He's got 9-10 suited. Now Joe's got ace-8 offsuit in the big blind.
And you want to get involved against a tough player with an ace and easily dominated hands.
And there you go. Joe folds. So there you go.
I'd sooner call 8-7. I mean,
Right.
the same theory holds true there.
Yeah. What do you think about those Seattle whiners?
Well, what are they whining about?
The referees.
Well, I mean, I think they do have. I think the Seattle got jobbed. I got to be honest.
Oh, come on.
Hey,
I mean, the only
I'll
one
say-
time you could say is maybe that offensive pass interference call was somewhat questionable.
I mean, there's also, but it just seemed like every single time Seattle did something right. There was also a play late in I want to say in the third quarter, actually, right before the big interception that Hasselbeck threw, that Jeremy Stevens caught the ball on the 3-yard line. They called that back for holding too. Just seemed like every single time Seattle made a big play, the referees got involved.
Now Maury is limped in this time with queen jack of diamonds under the gun. And we're going to see it limped around. 7-8 of clubs for seat 5. 4-way action. Here we go. And Joe limped in on the button with queen 3 suited. King 8 king here. It's missed everyone.
Well, Robert's got is Robert in there? He is. 2 pair.
Actually, Joe is in the small blind. And you're right, Robert is going to bet here with the 8. There you go.
And the same players we see slow play in the no limit
Right.
often will slow play in this game too. He probably would check a king, but he bets his 8.
Right.
No, I mean, I will say, I thought Seattle played bad. I think they have nobody to blame but themselves.
Mhm.
You know, good teams overcome adversity. Same as, hey, good poker players overcome adversity. But I still, having said that, I still do think they got jobbed.
Ace Queen of clubs over there for seat 7. And that's Nick, and he's going to pop it up.
That's a pretty automatic raise there, huh? In
Yep.
late position.
Joe's got King 9 offsuit on the button.
That's a pretty easy lay down there. Yeah, he
Yep.
does.
And Reno mucks 3-4 of diamonds in the small blind, and Maury mucks Ace 3 offsuit.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward play here. Again, you usually don't see this, I guess what you want to call, quote unquote, tough of a table
Yeah.
in 2014 Hold'em.
And this is actually the kind of table I like.
Yeah.
Some people will say they love a game where, you know, every pot is capped and there's 5 people in the pot. To me, that's kind of like, it's almost crapshoot
Yeah.
limit hold'em where
Yeah.
you get your money in with the best of it and just kind of pray and hold it.
Which
and
is
hope it
kind of
hits.
what our 30 game is almost every time. Yeah.
I mean, this game is a game where most pots are going to be heads up.
Right.
You have a chance to really outplay your opponent. And you might not win a $1,000 pot in this game, but you can win $100 here, $150 there, and so forth.
Joe's going to bring this one in for a raise with pocket deuces. Now,
It's certainly better than limping in late position, don't you think?
now Matt's going to call with King high, King 4 offsuit.
Wow,
Here we go.
heads up, king high.
Players.
Ace 4-7.
Now, this is a case where I'm talking. He's outflopped him, right? He's got the best hand, but how does he know that?
Well, he's going to check raise with bottom pair here.
Wow.
And again, you know, if somebody smooth calls here, how do you play it from then on? Now, this is going to probably work against Joe.
Yeah, I imagine this is an easy fold for Joe.
Yeah.
Well played by Matthew, but we talked about Matthew's article there. A play like that, where you have king 4, how do you know where
Right.
you're at?
Right.
Nice play by Matthew, though. Sometimes the ace, obviously, is the ultimate scare card for yourself, but can also be the ultimate scare card for your opponent, and you can use that. Remember, if your opponent is raising with a real hand like pocket 9s, pocket jacks, something like that, the ace is the one card they don't want to see.
Dave, your wife made some amazing food yesterday.
Yeah, she's a really good, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm blessed. She's a really, really good cook. I'm lucky. Pocket jacks
Yeah,
here. Sorry.
pocket jacks for seat 8. Now, Yuri limped in here
Ooh,
with
big hand.
King Queen under the gun, and pocket jacks is going to raise. Now, Joe's got Ace King in seat 9. Let's see if he's going to 3-bet.
Now, it's ace king offsuit. I like to 3-bet this.
And he does, and you would imagine Yuri will probably fold King Queen off under the gun.
Yeah.
Now, that's a hand that I will bring in for a raise or fold. No, he's going to call 3-bets with
Wow.
King Queen off.
And this is one of those cases where king queen offsuit.
Yeah.
The way these players are representing their hand, king queen offsuit should be dominated,
by
and
somebody.
it is.
Right. Here we go. 3 bets, 3 ways. Jacks are still in the lead here. Now, is Richard going to play it passively?
It's not a bad flop for jacks. He's also got a gut shot here. If a 9 were to hit, he has a straight.
He checked it, and Joe's going to check right behind everyone.
Takes a free card.
Turns a king, and now 2 players have top pair.
Yeah. And you wonder if this is going to go check, check, and here's going to be a bet. And is Yuri going to raise this?
Well, Yuri often sometimes will make a move, and he might check raise with King Queen here.
Yeah.
Joe's going to bet with the Ace King.
Well, it kind of smells like ace king, doesn't it?
Yuri is just going to call. And now if you're Richard,
Wow.
oh, wow, he's going to call as well.
Yeah, you can't really
overcalls the
overcall
jacks.
this.
Well, he still has outs to a jack or a 9. And the river's a 9, and
Wow.
he makes it.
And you got to think, obviously, a jack would be good if you hit it. You can't put somebody on a 9.
And he's going to come out and bet.
And he bet. Wow. Love the bet. Love the bet. You figure somebody's probably going to shut down. Nobody's going to bet this to one line or to a straight.
Well, I mean, I think you said immediately we can't overcall that with jacks. But I almost have to disagree with you
Yeah.
on that board because you have 6 outs. It's just like chasing an open-ended straight draw, right, on the big bet.
Well, it's, yeah,
Turn.
not quite as many 6 outs instead of 8.
You're right. Excuse me, 6 instead of 8. Yeah,
Well,
it's close. It's close.
Yeah, if you put both players on,
but neither player calls, so there were no implied odds.
if you put both players on a king,
Yep.
you know, and you go, okay, well, there's 4 cards plus my 2. Let's say you put Joe on ace king. You know, maybe there's 40. I want to say what 44 cards unseen.
Right.
6 good for me. The rest of them are bad.
So you need to make about 1 and 8, maybe 7 to 1 on your money. So basically, for him to make that $40 call, he needs to win a $280 pot. I don't know if he quite did that.
Right. He might have.
Yeah.
mean, it was 3-bet pre-flop.
Right,
There was
so-
$180 in there before
Yeah.
before the flop even came out. So plus 40 and 40. Actually, there was
Pretty
actually
close.
260 in there.
And then you got to
40
figure
call.
you figure that maybe at least one of the guys is going to call the river, but
Right.
neither did. So
What's funny, if a jack had hit, he
Right.
might have gotten a call. The 9 is the ultimate scare card.
Right.
Now you can't even beat King Jack.
Maury's going to raise it up here. He's going to open with looks like 7-8 of clubs in late position, and both blinds call here. Wow, what a flop for the small blind in seat number 5. 9-5 of diamonds, got a flush draw with a pair.
How about seat 6? Though? It's got 2 pair.
Now Yuri comes out and bets, and Maury raises. Maury's got top pair.
Yeah, this is real. This flop has really hit everybody here.
Seat 5 is called. Yuri's 3-bet, and the small blind has called. So we got 3 bets here on the flop and 2 bets from each player pre-flop. Turns a queen. Yuri is still in the lead. And now is Maury going to still continue to get involved here? Yeah, he calls again.
He's stubborn here. I mean, can 8-7 be good here?
Well,
Is there any way against 2 players 8-7
maybe
can
he's
be good?
figuring he can maybe spike a 7 or an 8, and the river's a king. And now if Yuri bets one more time, I think Maury might fold this.
Yeah.
Unless he's playing against Yuri and think he's just making a stone-cold move here.
Right, against 2 players, though, that's...
Yeah.
Against 1 player, I've seen him make that move. Against 2
Right.
players, I'm not sure. And obviously a lot of cards that Yuri had to dodge there. Had to dodge a 5, a 9, a 7, an 8, and a
Right.
diamond. And he was lucky to do it all.
Remember, Yuri bet 3-bet the flop. Well, Maury's going to pay him off.
All right, let's see.
And again, I don't think Maury makes this call against you, against me. I don't know necessarily
Yeah.
about you. You've kind of taken an interesting turn in your limit hold'em career, where I see you kind of making a lot of moves on the table.
Yeah. I told you, I'm anti-limit. I mean, I like the game. It's still a great
You actually
game.
came up to me and you said, "Sometimes I think I'm a fish in limit hold'em, right?"
Well,
When you go and play it.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, about a year ago,
Right.
actually, 2 years ago when I started working here,
Yeah.
I would play limit hold'em pretty much 37 hours a week.
Right.
And I got myself in the position where my limit hold'em game was at its pinnacle. I mean,
Right.
I thought I was as sharp as anybody. There was nobody in the entire casino I was scared of.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually took my game, like this year I went to the World Series and I predominantly played 81-60 limit hold'em
Right.
at the Bellagio and was beating the game pretty well.
Now Maury has brought this one in for a raise with King Queen off suit. Pretty standard middle possession. And Matt's going to 3-bet. He's got King Jack of clubs. He's
Wow.
dominated.
Dude, he's got position and he's raised Maury.
Yuri has folded 9-10 of hearts in the big blind. Only 2 people in to call 2 bets cold, and they're heads up. And if Maury
2 players.
misses and Matt continues to bet, we're heads up King Queen against King Jack of clubs. Wow, what a flop for Matt. Ace 10-4, gut shot, and a club draw.
Yeah, and Robert is not in the hand, folks.
Yep. Matt bets and Maury calls because Maury also has a gut shot. Here we
He
go to
does
the
not
turn.
have a club in his hand. I'm surprised Maury would call that.
Turns a 6.
And
And it
that's-
goes check, and the river's a jack, and Maury
Wow.
gets there with a straight. Really surprised that, Matt's going to pay him off here.
Yeah, I'm really surprised Matthew did not bet the turn there.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, when Maury called him, he said, you know what, Maury probably got an ace.
Maybe he has an ace.
And let me take the free card. But anyway, back to my own story. Not to pat myself on the back, but I really thought I was one of the better limit hold'em players around.
Uh-huh.
Joe's going to be your blind.
Over the last 3 or 4 months, I predominantly played no limit hold'em.
Right.
And to be completely honest with you, I was telling you before, the more I play no limit, the more my limit game suffers.
Yep.
Yes.
Button moves over there
I
to
mean, it
seat
really
6.
is a completely different game, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the funny thing is, some people go to me, they ask me that question, they go, well, what are the differences in limit and no limit hold'em? It's all hold'em, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
I mean, it could not be more different.
3 players.
Three-way action here. Seat 5 open lid with King 10 offsuit in the cutoff. And he's against the blinds here. Ace, Jack 5. Now, Joe's got a flush draw, and he's going to bet right in there with an ace. I love it.
Yeah, I like that play a lot.
And Robert's going to call. He's got a gut shot to the queen, but he does not have spades.
He's only really got 3 outs. I mean, as long as he knows.
Turns another ace. Let's see if Joe's going to bet again. Would you think someone would have raised with an ace? Remember, Robert open limped.
Yeah.
And let's see what Joe's going to do here.
One of the reasons I like the bet here by Joe, and I think he's
No,
he's
he
gonna
just
check.
checks.
Wow.
And it goes check, check. And the river's a spade, and it gives Robert a pair, so it's probably going to go bet call.
I would imagine so.
Yep.
All right, let's see.
And Robert calls.
Flush.
There you go.
I'm really surprised. I'm surprised on both. I'm surprised Joe did not bet the turn.
Bet the turn,
there.
yeah.
The only thing you're scared of, though, is if you go, wait, if the guy called through the jack, now that the ace came on the turn,
He might just call again.
it's that much more likely that the jack is good.
Right.
Two play?
Now, the funny thing, though, is, just watching this game for the first 50 minutes, I had this discussion about the 81-60 game at the Bellagio. That game was much easier to beat than this game's playing tonight, right?
No, I actually think, well, here, we got a chip count
Yeah.
here.
Raise it.
We like to point out that obviously chip counts don't mean as much, obviously, in limit hold'em,
Right.
because you can't really bully anybody with a big chip count. But it's a nice barometer to see how everybody's doing tonight.
Now, Maury's brought this one in for a raise with pocket queens,
Flares.
and Reno has called him in the big blind with ace-3 of diamonds. Jack 7-8, so Maury's got the overpair, and he's gonna bet, and he shows it. There you go. Now, what were you gonna say about the 80 game at the Bellagio?
I was saying it actually, in a weird way, it almost played like this game. If you took 4 or 5 relatively tight players, and then 1 or 2 fishes, and that was it. And you felt that, as a businessman, didn't really know how to play limit hold'em,
Right.
and had plenty of money to blow around. Where, most of the pots were heads up. Rarely did you see 4-way or 5-way multi-action pots. And as far as my limit game goes, I really like a game like this.
Seed 8 is new player. His name is Mike.
I mean, I think there's a lot of money to be made in a game like this.
And that is pocket kings here for seat 5, and he just limped in.
Raise.
And seat 7 is going to raise, and I'm very familiar with the way Mike plays. He's going to add a lot of loose action to
Yes.
this game in seat 8. He's a very, very nice guy. He owns a number of, I think, 7-Eleven type convenience stores, Dave. So he's a pretty well-off businessman,
Right.
and he plays for fun, and he's going to add a lot of action to this game in seat 8.
Right, but he's not loose aggressive. He's not laggy.
No, he's almost like loose passive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's really no value in bluffing him
No.
whatsoever.
No.
All right.
So here we go. Robert pulled the limp re-raise, and limit, and now we've got 4-way action times 3 small bets. This is the type of limit hold'em I'm accustomed to.
Yes, exactly.
Ace Queen 7 here on the flop. Well, pocket kings is still actually Reno's got ace 8.
Yeah.
A bet by Robert, a
Wow.
raise by Nick with second
And is
pair.
is it Reno going to fold this year?
Might Reno not get involved now with ace 8?
Well, remember, it's a raised up pot.
Right.
Can you really put somebody on a hand worse than ace 8 here?
I got to tell you, I might just get rid of this and not get involved.
I
And there you
agree
go.
with you.
Yep.
And we pointed out before, good players lay down winning hands all the time there.
Right.
There's no way ace 8 should be good there.
Right. Robert calls, and maybe Robert's going to go into check call mode here.
Well, Nick has protected Robert's hand here, and Robert's in great shape.
Nick's bet again. He's really representing the ace. And I think that Robert is all in here, it
Yeah.
looks like. River's a 7, but kings are going to hold up here. And Reno's probably not going to be pleased, but I still think it's the right laydown.
It's definitely the right laydown.
Yep. And he's telling Maury.
Yeah. I mean, I find that my own game, the more I play limit hold, the more I play no limit, and I go back to limit hold'em occasionally, I find that sometimes, you try to make something out of nothing too much.
Yeah.
And in limit hold'em, you really have to be patient and disciplined in the sense that
Yep.
it's either there or it's not there. There isn't that much room to outplay your opponent.
Again, Mike, very, very nice guy. Actually, one of my favorite people that comes and plays in this game regularly.
Yeah, Mike's a super guy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's interesting. You were talking about the no-limit game you played on Friday night.
Yeah.
And you're saying how you were doing a lot of calling in position with the chance of bluffing people out later. And
Right.
you said it was working really well.
Right.
Now, obviously, in a limit game, though, you would never employ that
No,
strategy.
absolutely not. Limped around here.
Replayer.
Now Mike is limped here with 7-8 of clubs from
In
up.
late position.
Oh, he's in
Middle
middle position. And the flop comes Jack 6 deuce.
Well, Matthew's got the best hand here with 3s, and he's going to bet
He's
it.
going to bet. And see, oftentimes, you'll look and say, well, how does Mike call that? He'll just often take one off on the flop.
Yeah, he takes
He's got
one off no matter what. right?
Backdoor clubs, turns a deuce, and he's probably going to get rid of it now as Matthew bets
Yeah.
again. Let's see.
And Maury taps the table. He sees his trip deuce.
Right, right.
If he had called one off there.
Yep.
Matthew's a pretty aggressive. Maybe Maury can give Isaac some lessons on how to play Queen Deuce.
Yeah, Queen deuce. Well, seat 1, we got Kathy coming to the game. She's a local type pro as well, pretty solid player in seat 1.
She is. To me, she's almost too tight.
She's almost too
What
tight.
do you think?
I don't know if you can ever be too tight. Now,
But-
what you might say is you're not aggressive enough post-flop.
Maybe that's it.
I don't necessarily think you can be too tight with pre-flop standards.
Because I agree with you. You can't be too tight.
Yeah.
But I always watch Kathy, and it's like I'm never afraid of playing against her.
Yeah. Because you think you can move her off of a hand, you mean?
I know where she's at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just know where she's at. If she's holding a lot of strength, she's got me beat.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, Joe Wynn here has got king, queen suited in seat 9. I'm going to guarantee he's going to open this with the raise, and he does.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Late position, king,
Yep.
queen suited.
Matt's got 6-4 clubs in the small blind. He's not going to play. And king deuces are there, and Joe's going to
Matthew plays a lot more aggressive than I thought he would. You know, Matt is actually plays. It's almost weird. Matt he plays really ABC and really tight in a no limit game.
Yeah.
But in a limit game, he really mixes it up.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily know if he's mixed it up yet. I mean, he got a free ride last hand in the blinds. So
No,
he
but
was,
what I mean is, he had king 4. He called Joe's raise with king 4. Flops bottom pair and check raise.
well, you know, oftentimes, though, people will defend their blinds with any 2 cards.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's...
But the fact that you check raise when you hit bottom pair, that's...
Now, Mike's got queen 10 of hearts here from up front. Probably going to limp.
I guess it's more than I expected so far. I was impressed.
He limps. Seat 2 limps with 8-9 of diamonds. And seat 5 in the small blind is going to complete here with 3-5 offsuit. And we're going to see 4-way action here, limped around. Here we go. King, 10, queen, and Mike's got 2 pair. Let's see if he's going to raise Yuri, and he does. Yuri bets in with top pair, Mike raises with top and bottom. Pretty straightforward so far.
Yeah, does Mike ever get tricky? Would he just call with a set?
Well, I'm really surprised. Reno's called with 8-9, but if a jack comes, anyone with an ace would have a straight.
Yeah, there's zero value to
Yeah.
that gut shot, isn't there?
And Mike capped it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Reno's doing there.
Yuri 3-bet, and Mike capped it, and now Mike's filled up. Check by Yuri, and Mike checks the full house, and he gets checked around. And the river here is a 4. Now, again, Mike is not a professional, and we always preach, I would really jam it there on the turn. You've kind of let one bet go off,
Yeah.
you know? And he checked it again.
Really?
Actually, Yuri's come out and bet the river, excuse me. And let's see if Mike raises.
No,
No,
it
it went bet
It went
call.
check,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Mike did bet it.
Yeah. And there you go. Nice hand there by Mike. Okay, and you can email us, liveatthebike.com. Button moves over here to seat 5. Mike is under the gun here. He's got jack 7 of hearts, and he's going to make the limp. Again, Mike's probably the type of player that's going to call with any kind of, connected 2-suited cards, maybe even any 2-suited. And limped around. Here we go. We've got 4-way action. Limped around. Queen 3 deuce here. Yuri's got 8 deuce. He's got bottom pair. He's going to get checked, and Mike's going to come out and bet here. He's missed the flop, and Robert calls with ace high. And Yuri is going to call with bottom pair. Surprisingly, 8 deuce. We've got 3-way action as we go to the turn. The turn's a deuce, and look at Yuri. He's hit trip deuces. He checks it. And it gets checked around, and the river's a 4. But the thing is, Yuri's going to come out and bet here, and I don't think he can get called off by either player. So again, another missed bet. People trying to slow play the turn. Again, Yuri has 8 deuce offsuit, and he is going to take it down there with the 8 deuce. Button moves over here to seat 6.
Thank you. Big blind, sir.
And the big blind here is in Mike's hands in seat 8. Again, we're watching live at the bike. I want to tell you about, I think Dave mentioned it briefly, that I will be hosting a bounty tournament on the LA poker scene on Sunday, sometime during that day, and you can try to knock me out. So go and download the software, lapokerscene.com. Click on the banner on the right-hand side of your screen, and you can play me on Sunday afternoon. Check it out.
Raise.
We're also doing a $500,000 free roll on the lapokerscene.com. That's right, $500,000. Check that out. Raise here by Matt with queen 10 of diamonds out of seat 4. Seat 5 is called with 10-9 suited, and Mike is in there with queen 7. Wow, overcards and a spade draw for Robert in seat 5. Matthew's going to lead here with overcards. Robert's going to call. And Mike has queen 7, not queen 8. But he makes the call on the flop anyways. Again, Mike does not have trip 8. The turn is a 3. Mike checks. Matt's going to continue to bet with overcards. Robert calls, and Mike is probably going to fold, and he does. And here we go to the river. And the river is a 10, and now Matthew has the best hand. And he bets again. And his queen is going to play here, folks. Robert called all the way with a flush draw. And he's going to pay him off. And Matthew's going to take it down. Now, often, tough competition with Robert's hand might raise the turn. And Matthew would have to be done with the hand. Right there with the queen 10 of diamonds if Robert had raised with his draw on the turn. You know, even if Robert had raised on the flop and bet the turn, Matthew would have been done with the hand.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, it's oftentimes, well, it's this. I mean, this is the one instance where it is correct. It's almost the same as no limit or limit hold'em or really any kind of poker, where it often is better to raise than just call.
Right.
Calling stations rarely win any form of poker.
Yep.
And if you've got a big draw, give it a raise because you never know what your opponent is betting.
Right.
You know, if your opponent has garbage, you can get him off that, obviously.
So again, $500,000 free roll, Dave. If you sign up and use the bonus code 5x500,000K, it'll get you 5 free entries into the Stage 1 tournaments, which happen 3 times a day. 12:30, 2:30, and 6:30 Pacific time. And the winner of those Stage 2 tournaments gets an entry, or Stage 1 tournaments gets an entry into the final stage, which is held in October.
Right, and first place is $200,000.
Yeah.
Now, I've already gotten my seat, but don't despair because second place is $70 grand.
Right. Now, Matt has raised it up. He's got pocket 5s. And Reno's going to defend here with 7-9 offsuit. So here we go.
Reno likes to defend those blinds,
Yeah.
huh?
Well, all clubs on board here.
Yeah, it's missed everybody, and neither player has a club. I'm assuming if Matthew bets this, he'll probably take it down.
I tell you what.
I think Reno's just going to fold it. That's always nice, too.
I love that.
Yeah.
Buy the club out.
Button's going to move over there to Mike in seat 8. Now, it looks like Maury got up from the table, Dave, in seat 3. We're going to get another player coming in.
For me, in limit hold'em, it's the same as no limit hold'em. I don't need a game that has 4 or 5 players that are giving money.
Right.
1 or 2 is enough. 2 is actually ideal to me. 2 players that are kind of contributors.
Right.
That have deep pockets also.
And again, you know, it's funny. We are really sometimes almost overly critical of the no-limit play, Dave, because this show has gotten so popular
Right.
that a lot of people are banging down the door to play no-limit. This is kind of the first time with limit hold'em. I'm going to go on a little bit easy on some of these players.
Yeah.
In terms of the limit hold'em, because now a raise here by Yuri with ace-10 offsuit. Mike's got ace-queen of clubs on the button. He's going to call.
Not working.
Now, sometimes you might 3-bet that, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. Mike generally won't. Mike will call.
Right, right.
But yeah, ace queen suited on the button.
Yeah.
That's definitely a 3-bet sometimes.
4-way action here. Yuri's the pre-flop raiser. What a flop for Mike. Club draw and overcards.
I mean, he already had the best hand, and now he's got the best
Right.
draw also.
Now, I'm so familiar with Mike's game. Yuri bets, and Mike is going to just call. Oh, no, he did raise. He did raise.
Yeah, that's a great raise there by him.
Yep.
And can you just get away from it if you're right now?
Well, when Mike shows strength here, you might.
I mean, that's what I mean.
Oh, wow. Turns an ace. Now both players have top pair, but Mike's on a free roll.
Yeah, Yuri is in bad shape here. Yuri needs a 10 that is not a club. He's got 2 outs and 2 outs only, folks.
Now, look at this. And Mike's going to raise. I was going to say,
Oh,
a
I
lot of
love it.
times I'm familiar with Mike where he might just call that, but he actually raises Yuri.
I mean, can you throw it away if you're Yuri here? Remember, it's Mike raising.
I mean, Mike raised. He could have easily done with this with a 4, right? I can't believe Yuri's still in there. Mike
What-
could have done this with a 4. On
What
the
about a
flop.
set of 5s? I mean, could he
Yeah.
be drawing dead with your ace 10?
And Mike needs an offsuit 10 to call.
Oh,
man.
man.
Unbelievable. They're going to chop it up. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's just brutal.
Mike bets.
That is brutal.
Yuri calls.
Oh, man.
What an unbelievable river card. Just bad luck for Mike.
Yeah, that just sucked. You know, I was going to say Yuri actually had 2 outs, only 2 outs, the 10
Right.
of spades and the 10 of spades and 10 of hearts to win the pot.
I think Mike's such a nice guy, but sometimes he'll just glare at the dealer, and sometimes it's the funniest thing in the
Yeah.
world. He'll just glare at the dealer.
Well, you think about it, okay, there's 44 cards unseen, okay?
Right.
3 of them give him a chop. 2 give him a loss.
Right.
And the rest of them are all Mike's.
Right.
Oh, man.
Unbelievable.
And it's not like Mike. I mean, Mike never slow played it. Played it hard.
Yeah, he did. And actually, you know, Mike has improved his game a lot since when I first started playing with him, Dave.
Oh,
he
yeah.
actually will show strength before the big betting rounds, in order to deceive people. Like I've seen him check raise flopped flushes on the flop,
Right.
Stuff like that. You know. Now, actually, you know, Mike raised there on the flop, Dave.
Yeah.
Now, I actually want to take a different point. I might actually just call there. My hand is so big, I want people in with deuce 3-5.
2-3-5
Yeah.
with ace queen of clubs.
Unless I think I might drive a dangling 4 out. But is someone really going to fold a 4?
No, they might not fold a 4, but might you get like
Might
a
get them
3
to
out.
pay. Yeah.
Might you get somebody a 3 out? Might your hand be strong enough to actually bet for value, raise for value, and get somebody in there with a 4?
Mike
or
raised
3.
here with 9-10 of spades, and C5's going to re-raise with pocket queens.
Yeah, Mike's in bad shape here.
Here we go to the flop. Oh, 6-3-8.
Well, Mike's got a gut shot here.
Yep, he can hit a 7. He's going to call. He also has backdoor spades. Here we go to the turn. Turn is a 6. Well, now Mike really should probably get out of the hand, but he's going to make the call.
Yeah, he's got basically, you know, he's got exactly 4 outs here.
Yep.
He has one of the 4 7s left, and that's it.
Oh, the river's an 8. Well, that's probably going to save him. Robert's going to bet again here.
Well, he's got a flush draw now.
Now, sometimes the problem when people often take off too many cards like they're on the turn, you know, if the river was a 9 or a 10, Mike would probably call the river.
Oh,
and he would
definitely.
lose another bet. Yeah. Now, again, I mean, if you're crafty, I mean, I don't necessarily think I was really going to bring the hand in with 9-10 of spades from early position, but you could play that, especially if you catch a small spade on the turn, as a raise on the turn, even with a gut shot over
Yeah, you
card to
could.
spades.
I mean I mean, the interesting thing is that's part of what I brought to my limit game,
Yeah.
and it actually hasn't helped as much because I'm finding that people are
People
paying
just
me
call
off
down.
anyway.
Yeah.
So now I'm calling on the big street. I'm paying twice as much,
Right.
And I'm still getting called down with just draws.
Now, Mike is raised here again with a suited connector, 8-9 of hearts, and Matt's
Ooh.
got pocket aces, and he's going to call on the button.
Actually, he raised, didn't he?
Well, he made it 3-bet.
Yeah.
He made the 3-bet. So Mike's in bad shape once again, out of position. Ooh, and Mike's got, 10-7-3. He's got a gut shot. He's open-ended, Dave.
Yeah, he's open-ended here, but there's 3 diamonds on the board.
Yep.
Matthew's got the ace of diamonds in his hand. I mean,
Turn is a 7. No help for Mike.
Mike needs a jack or a 6 that
That's
is
not
not
a
a diamond.
diamond.
I mean, he's got 6 outs and 6 outs only
This is
here,
one of these
folks.
brutal beats that could happen in Limit Hold'em. Oh, it does not happen. The river's
Well,
a 10.
I tell you, Mike's hand keeps happening. 2 pair on the river.
He gives the glare to the dealer.
Yeah. How could you not give me one of my last
I
6
know.
outs? What the hell's wrong with you? And the river is so bad for
Matt.
Mike there. No, but the river's so bad for Mike there that he can't even beat. If some guy was bluffing with like king high,
Right,
I mean,
right.
he can't beat anything. So I learned something new today.
What's that?
Don't rollerblade backwards while you're on the phone.
While you're on the phone?
Yeah. One of the stupider things I've done this year.
I see that you're icing your hand down.
Yeah, one of the stupider things I've ever done.
Well, that's interesting. Now Yuri's going to chop, Dave.
I guess he doesn't chop in position, he chops out of position.
I guess so.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's kind of Bush League, isn't it?
Well, and now in this game, in Limit Hold'em, I chop because I guess I'm a prop and it's good for the game. But at this level, you can not chop. It's okay. I mean, at the 6-12 level, it makes sense to chop.
Right. Oh,
But the pot's so big here that it's only really a small percentage. I mean, they're taking $4 off of what is $40.
well, the pot's already 30 right away.
Right. Butt moves over here to Yuri in seat 6.
I mean, even if the guy just folds to you, it's only like maybe 11 or 12% going into the
Right. Matt's going to raise it up here out of seat 4.
the rake.
Pocket 8s. Mike's got queen 9 of spades. He's going to make the call. here we go. Heads up here. Well, Mike's outflopped Matt. Mike checks, and Matt bets. Flop is king, queen, 6 with 2 diamonds.
Mike really, this is the kind of hand, Mike will rarely lay this down, right? He's got
Right.
second pair, not much of a kicker.
It's probably going to pay him off the whole way, but he has the best hand.
Yeah, he can't really.
Oh, now he's got trip queens.
Yeah, and he'll probably bet this.
And he does bet, and Matt actually pays him off.
Wow.
I don't know if I would have paid Matt off. I mean, I would have paid Mike off there.
Hey, you wonder if Matthew's familiar with Mike's play here.
Yeah.
Hey, Bart, have you got your Valentine this year?
Well, do I have a Valentine?
Yeah. I'm not asking you.
Do
To be my-
you want to be my Valentine?
No, I don't. I have a Valentine already. I don't want to be yours. But I know Valentine's Day is coming, okay?
Yes. Okay.
And there's nothing better to buy your poker playing partner than a poker pads.
Ah,
The perfect man gift or woman gift.
yes.
Click on the banner to your right and order yours today. Go to liveatthebike.com on the right-hand side, little poker pad, really cool little thing. I know you play a lot of online poker. Do you use it?
I
at
do.
home? Yeah.
Indeed. Matt's going to raise again here. He's got 9-10 suited. He's really driving forward with the hands. Mike is called with Jack 5 of spades, and Kathy's over there with King Jack offsuit. So here we go. Three-way
In the
action.
blind.
Wow, Kathy's flopped trips, and she's pretty solid. She might just lead right out here. Well, she checked it. Matt bet. Now, Matt's got a draw here, but if a jack were to come, Kathy would fill up. And Kathy check raises the flop.
And this is an easy fold now.
Well, Matt calls.
Oh.
Maybe he thinks his jack might be good. Turns a 9. Now he has a pair. Kathy's going to lead again.
You see, Matthew might not be familiar with Kathy here.
Yeah.
Kathy check raises me. Unless I have king-queen here or a
Right.
set of queens, I'm out.
Right.
I mean, that's probably the worst hand you could have right there is king-jack.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, I just wonder. I know you say that people don't pay attention in limit hold'em, but when it comes to Kathy, I mean, does she really get any action? Do people give her any action?
We had an email here from Jeff Klein. It says, Barton Tuck. Lately, I've been getting really boarded out with Hold'em. Instead, I've been playing a lot of Omaha 8 or better. Is it normal to get burned out playing the same game? Well, of course it is,
Yeah.
right? Of course it is. I got to tell you, like you and I say, like I'm really, really tired of Limit Hold'em. I've played it for so long. It's gotten kind of dry. You and I have come to the conclusion there's much more money to be made no limit if you're a good player.
Yeah.
You know, I love Omaha 8 or better though, because I think my advantage is huge in that game compared to others who don't have no idea how to play the game.
I mean, I played the 10-20 mix game here the other day
Right.
that has deuce to 7 triple draw, Padugi, Omaha,
Right.
and we actually played stud
No
high low
qualifier.
with no qualifier. Really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of returns you to your roots when you used to play those home games,
Right.
and the dealer would choose whatever game you wanted to play.
Jack 5-4 here on the board, and Yuri's come out and bet with Queen Jack, and Kathy has called with 3-4. So Queen Jack against 3-4. Turns a 6, and now Kathy's open-ended.
Yep. And she's
Kathy's going to check call
check
again.
call, yeah. Now, if she hits a 3 or 4, a deuce or 7, is she going to bet it?
Well, the river's an 8.
Well, she probably check fold this, right?
No, Yuri's not even going to bet the river.
Yeah, against Kathy, you figure she's not going to call me with a worse hand than I have.
The funny thing about Kathy is I really respect her play a lot, but like you said, you know, if she were to come out, if I had Queen Jack and she bet the river there, I would probably fold. But instead, you know,
Yeah,
she
you-
checks the river.
Right, you
and-
wonder if Yuri does.
Right,
yeah.
right.
I actually, just to go back on that question, getting sick of a particular game, I find it amazing when people do not get sick of one game.
Yeah,
I mean, how can you play a game for hours on end and not get sick of one game?
yeah.
Man, I mean, I've been married for 4 years, and I'm sick of the same... Uh-oh. Did I say that?
How long?
That was a joke. I was kidding.
Email here from UGA, and we'll get it here in a minute. He's saying, we're all watching over at neverwinpoker.com, looking forward to Wednesday night's show. And he says that he misses his buddy Shirley. Well, we all do. And we had a raise here.
I actually spoke to Shirley a couple days ago. She's busy playing tournaments.
Now look at that seat 9 posted here behind. He's called with Jack 7, and Matt's got pocket 8s. So that's why Joe is in there, because he was already in for part of the bet here. Queen 7, 8, and
Ooh.
Matt's got a set.
Wow.
And I believe he bet right away. Now Yuri, he doesn't have anything, and he's going to make the call.
No, we see this sometimes in limit hold'em when people getting stubborn.
Yeah.
You got no pair, no draw. I mean, he's got backdoor spade draw, I guess you could say, with
Joe's
king
got
of spades.
Joe's got he's got bottom pair, and he's going to raise. Let's see if Matt jams it up. It's a really connected board here.
I think it's an easy 3-bet here.
Yeah, he did. He did 3-bet. This is probably going to save Yuri.
I mean, he's also out of position, so you got to think about it. If he just calls and he checks the turn, he's got to be worried about the free card.
Yuri folds, and now Joe.
If you're Joe, can you just get rid of it here?
Well, if he's 7 or his Jack come, they're no good. He would need some sort of running cards here.
Well, you got to be scared that Jack might not be good anyway. What happens if this guy's betting 9-10 of spades?
Turns a spade. Well, now he's got the Jack of spades. Matt bets. And look at this. You know what? Joe might rate. Could Joe possibly raise here, and then if he whiffs on the river, check right behind Matt with the 7? That's a pretty advanced play.
It is.
No, he's going to fold, looks like. Well, wait a minute. He's got the Jack of spades in his hand.
Yeah, he's double checking here. It's not a bad play if you think your hand's the best one.
Because if Joe raises, Matt cannot 3-bet with the set of 8s, right?
Well, he shouldn't be. He shouldn't.
Yeah, he just calls.
I don't even think Matthew might not be able to bet the river now.
Well, the river's a queen.
Oh,
He
well.
fills up. Now he can, and he's
Yeah.
going to bet again.
And you almost hope Joe has a queen.
Right. And he's going to take it down. Again, oftentimes with a pair and a flush draw on that case on the turn, even though the Jack isn't necessarily the highest flush draw, you can't give Matt credit for a higher spade. Your head's up. You can often raise there and
Yeah.
possibly check down as a whiff
Right.
on like if you miss.
It's definitely
On
a
the
play.
river. Yeah.
Although I will
Add
tell
some
you,
fold equity.
I was actually playing in a hand against Patty about a week ago, and I made that same exact play. I raised with 2 pair on the turn with the intentions of checking down the river, and Patty re-raised me with a 7 high flush.
Wow.
She made it 3 bets and 7 high flush.
Yeah. And you called and then folded on the river?
No, I folded right there.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I called. I called and then folded.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a raise here by Joe.
But I was shocked because she showed me the hand. I thought she had an ace high flush.
We got several people away from the table here. We're heads up here. Yuri against Joe. Yuri defended his blind with deuce 8 offsuit. And he's going to bet right into 10-6-6. And Joe raises him with king 4. And Yuri is going to 3-bet now. So there's no play in limit hold'em, and that might get Joe to lay the hand down.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Talk about this and look at that. And
Yeah.
Yuri earns
Like I
himself
said,
a
Yuri
pot.
is a mover and a shaker out there. You know?
Yeah.
I've seen him check raise with absolutely nothing on the turn. He really has a lot of moves in his game.
Because I actually find that play exactly is actually one of the leaks that have started up my limit game. Something that wasn't there before. But you see that instance where Yuri he's almost trying to win every single pot he's playing. And I've seen that's creeped into my own game. You know, and I'm trying to take responsibility for my own actions, obviously. But same as in no limit hold'em, especially in limit hold'em, you can't win every single pot, and you don't have to. So you pick your spots. I mean, give Yuri credit for that play, but you wonder if he's trying to win too many pots. Just reading the post here by Surfing a Line, I on 2+2. I like that. That's funny. Check out 2+2. We have a live thread that we follow all night long. 3-way action here. Flop is Ace King 6 Rainbow. Misses everybody here. Matthew still has the best hand with 7s. Hard for him to know that though. And look at that. Well, he bets and Yuri calls. And the turn is a 7. There you go. Matthew didn't need it, but now he's got trips, and now he obviously knows he has the best hand here. And Yuri took one off for see if he could get his gut shot. And now throws it away. And take it down, Matthew. Once again, Matthew teaches at a local school. Teaches math to the Southern California kids. I was asking the other day, actually, if he would use cards as an example to show his kids statistics and stuff like that. Button is in seat 6. Once again, the small blind is $10 in this game. The big blind is $20. And obviously, it's $20 the first 2 rounds, $40 the next 2 rounds. And Matthew's going to raise it up here. He's got, not quite sure exactly what he has. There you go. He's got pocket sixes this time. And Yuri is going to call with Queen Jack. Now, it is a short game.
So here we go. We're going to see it three ways times a double
Wow,
bet.
and look at that. And Joe calls with Jack 7 offsuit.
Yeah. Well, like you said, we are playing short right now. Flop comes out Queen 10-4, and Yuri's got top pair.
Now, I understand playing short, but if you're playing short, do you start calling hands with Jack 7?
Well, usually
When you
I
do?
like to 3-bet when we play short with the cards that I'm going to play.
Okay. But Jack 7, is that a hand you might 3-bet with? Or might you just
Probably not.
pick a better spot?
It's going to get checked to Yuri, and he's going to bet with top pair.
Yeah.
And let's see if Matt is going to get involved here. No, doesn't look like it. Again, oftentimes, you think if you put a guy on ace-king or ace-jack, he's going to have overcards to your pocket pair plus a straight draw, and you're going to be an underdog anyways. Now, it's funny. I actually went outside briefly, and I was talking to Maury, who just left the game. And he immediately came up to me and he said, you know why I called there was 7-8 of clubs against Yuri, right? And I said, I kind of have a good idea. Against any other player, he would have laid that down.
Right.
But as we can see, Yuri's just making moves with nothing all over the place. So,
And you, as you correctly pointed out before, oftentimes the pot is laying you 7 or 8 to 1
Right.
on that last big bet. And if you just think that Yuri might be bluffing more than 1 out of 6 or 7 times, well, then it's profitable to make that call. And not sure if Joe and Kathy are going to chop it up. They are. They're going to chop this up. And this is something that happens more often in limit games than any other game, I'll tell you. Limit Hold'em, people love to walk.
well, stud high low is pretty bad too.
Yeah. Well, Stud High, you can't blame them because they've got to go and, get more oxygen and so forth and do other things that old people do.
Plus, in stud high low, it's an anti-game, so you're not really missing out.
Exactly. But in Limit Hold'em, it's just, well, also what it is a lot of people will get up at their blind and then they figure they've got a good 10, 12 minutes.
Right.
Because they're going to wait until it gets around again.
Button's over there in seat 9, Joe Wynn.
Chop.
He's got 9 deuce of hearts, and he's going to fold, and this one's going to get chopped up.
And this is the nature of Limit Hold'em. Sometimes it does go through dry spots.
Right. Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Also, check out our Pokulator. You want to check out the odds of a certain hand? Check it out on our site.
Well,
Right on the left-hand side of your screen.
Right after my party last night, I was curious because I had ace-6 of spades.
Yeah.
And Isaac had queen deuce offsuit. And I was curious what the odds were, how much of a favorite I was over him. So I went on the Pokulator and I checked it out. And I found out that I was a pretty significant favorite.
Pretty significant. It could have been more than 63%.
Hey, 63-37, that's not bad.
Button's over there in Kathy's hand in seat 1. How about king, queen versus aces?
When there's a king dead already?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, in my defense, Isaac was actually also in that with king 10.
Yeah.
And had I just beaten Isaac and lost to you, I still would have made money on the pot.
Pocket king's over here for seat 2. That is Reno. And look at this. Joe is going to raise with ace-5, and I assume that Reno's going to make it 3 bets here out of the small blind.
Yeah, every time I think of Reno, I go, Reno, Tahoe.
And he does
Reno,
3-bet.
Tahoe.
Matt's out of there. And Nick is out of there with 8-10 of diamonds. So Joe is going to call here with ace-5, I would imagine. And he does. And
Well, yeah,
lands
at
up.
that point, you've got to look at it and go, there's 5.5 bets in there. It's only 1 bet to call. Pretty easy call.
Here we go. Wow, Jack, Jack 5. Is Joe going to get involved here?
You want to check all the bet? Go.
They're going to check it all the way. Oftentimes, when someone's scared of the board, you see that. Oh, Joe needs an ace or a 5 here. Yeah, not going to come.
Reno's hand is good there. Takes it down.
Again, another play that Joe might have played. If Reno had bet the flop, Joe could have called. On the turn, he might have been able to raise Reno and maybe check it down on the river.
The only thing you wonder, though, is Joe is also one of those players like Yuri. He makes a lot of moves.
Right.
And does his bluff on a turn, will that get... if you bluffed on a turn,
Right.
it probably would work.
Right.
But if Joe does it, is it going to work? I'm not sure.
I just think that, Yuri, he makes these moves and stuff, although I guess he picked the right player to make a move. Oftentimes these games aren't tough enough against good enough competition where those moves are profitable. Just like you just said, you find it's almost like a leak in your game now. that you're almost making too many moves.
It's
It's ridiculous.
100%.
Yeah.
We keep pointing out in the game
Oh,
like
there's Jennifer Bankston, the cutie, coming into seat 2.
in a game like this, if you play it
Seat 3.
if you play it ABC, you
Right.
play it real tight but real aggressive. The few hands you play them real aggressive. You can easily beat this game.
Right.
You know, if you try to make too many moves, you don't have to in this game.
Joe's going to open here for a raise with Jack 10 off suit. Seat 5's got ace, queen, and diamonds. He's going to make the call. And we are heads up. So here we go. Joe's the pre-flop raiser. Robert's in there with ace, queen. Oh, Joe's got an open-ended straight draw.
Yeah.
Robert checks the ace, queen. Joe's going to bet. And Robert is going to, looks like he check raised.
Yeah.
And let's see if Joe makes it 3 bets now.
Now this is a case where it's not a bad 3-bet move, but by 3-betting you can take the free card at a
Right,
turn if you
right.
want to.
And it looks like he is going to 3-bet.
Yeah.
And Robert caps it.
Well, now that's the worst thing that can possibly happen.
Right.
Because now you're paying the absolute most for your draw.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know, there is no cap heads up.
Right.
So, I mean,
might
Joe,
you even make it a 5th
well,
bet here and take the free
well,
card
the
at the
thing,
turn
though,
anyway?
is that Robert is pretty short stacked now.
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, at this point, you're almost hemorrhaging chips if you're Joe, right?
Yeah.
Joe's going to call.
I mean, Joe is still drawing to the nuts, obviously.
Right.
He catches an ace or a 9. He's got the nuts, and he knows that.
Here we go to the turn. Turns an 8. Robert quickly bets,
Yeah.
and Joe is going to call.
And
Get-
Joe still needs an ace or a 9.
Yeah. And the river's a 5, and Joe is missed, and Robert
Yeah.
bets again.
And that's the one
Joe
problem
folds
with
quickly.
one problem with raising to get a free card is
Right.
if your opponent picks up on that, they can really charge you the maximum for your draw.
Right. Nice hand there by Robert. Button's going to move over there to seat 4. And now we got a full game here. Jennifer's going to post behind in seat 3.
Runner on massive card to beat me. That's all I know.
Look at a chip count there. Looks like Joe's up a couple $100. Matthew's up to 1,800. So, I mean, this is a big game. 24 limit hold is a pretty big game.
Oh, yeah.
You can easily lose or win $1,000 to $1,500 if you go streaky. Bad or good day.
If you play a full session of Limit Hold'em 2040,
You'll be up and down the whole
yeah, I
time.
mean,
Yeah.
the big winner of the day could easily win 4 or 5 racks. The big
Right.
winner could easily lose 3, 4, 5
Right,
racks.
right.
You know, when I say a rack, that's $500, folks.
Raise here, ace jack offsuit by Joe. And Jennifer's going to call. She was already in for one small bet. She calls with queen jack. And we're going to see multiple way action here. 5-way action. 10 small bets. Joe wins the pre-flop raiser in seat 9 with ace jack offsuit. Here we go. King 9-4. Let's see if Joe bets out into everyone. Got a king 8 over there and Yuri in seat 6. He's got the best hand. But Yuri actually comes out and bets with top pair.
Yeah, like you said before, sometimes when you've got a hand like ace jack, you just got to be willing to get away from it.
Well, I mean, Yuri bets, Mike calls, and Joe raises. But what is Joe really looking to hit with ace jack?
Yeah. I mean, there's sometimes, like I was saying before,
Yeah.
you just can't win every single pot. And Yuri has no respect there. He 3-bets it.
He 3-bets right away. And it drives Jennifer out with the gut shot. She might have taken one off with queen jack from behind. And Joe's going to need a lot of help. He's going to need to spike an ace or running jacks. Turns a spade. Well, neither player has a spade in his hand.
Yeah, and you wonder if Joe can represent him, but Yuri seems intent on staying in against Joe.
Yuri checks. And Joe's going to look and see if he has a spade. Again, Yuri's shown a lot of strength. And Joe's going to check right behind Yuri here. And the river's a 9. Will Yuri check one? Well, Yuri's going to come out and bet.
Yeah. Thinks he has the best hands. And the only thing you got to wonder is, okay, King 9-4, Joe raised it.
And he shows a jack. He's probably trying to represent the fact that he's got pocket jacks.
Right, but I mean, he
Yeah.
raised it. You got to look at it and go, he raised it, then your opponent 3-bets it, and you still call it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no draw out there whatsoever, unless it was spades, but if it was spades, you would have gotten there, which obviously you didn't. It's just really odd. I mean, if there's one overcard, let's say you've got jacks, Bart. Flop comes out King 8-4 like it did, right? Oh, King 9-4, sorry. And a guy bets into you, you raise him because you think he maybe doesn't have a king, and then he 3-bets you.
Right.
Can you get away from jacks there, or are you going to stay in looking for your 2-outer?
I mean, I definitely think you can get away from jacks, and you can get away from ace jack there, too. It just...
Right.
Again, it's the type of situation we talk about. I guess, yeah, because it's against Yuri. But do you even necessarily want to mix it up with Yuri? I mean, you're going to stay in there with ace-jack the whole time. Just playing that straight up, you get a bet and a call, just get away from ace-jack, right?
Exactly.
It's just...
You don't have to win every pot you play.
Yeah, oftentimes people think, well, if I raise pre-flop, I have to show a lot of strength on the flop. I can't just fold the hand on the flop. Not quite, right? I mean, looks like we got a new setup here. Got an email here from Mike Antolini. He says, I just wanted to tell you that I really feel like my overall game is improving from watching the show on a regular basis. I'm a weekend limit poker player at Foxwoods, and I decided to place no limit for the first time live this weekend after seeing so much analysis on the show. I feel like I have a much better grasp on the game from watching the show. Well, thank you very much. Believe me, Dave and I think we have a much better grasp on the game from watching the show as well.
I mean,
to the point where we want to only play no limit exclusively.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, the funny thing is, obviously we try to tell people that you can really learn how to play poker by watching the show.
Right.
We are, we live that motto.
Right.
Our game, I would say that my game has improved 100%.
Right.
Since I've started doing commentary on the show.
Right. Button moves over there to seat 5. Now, Mike is going to limp in here in seat 8 with Jack 5 of hearts. Again, he likes up and down or, suited cards. Oftentimes you'll see players play any 2 suited cards.
Yeah.
Now, Jennifer had an ace-jack in seat 3. After 5 limpers, she's just going to call. And you know what? I don't mind that. I mean, ace-jack isn't all that valuable. An aggressive player
would
might
you ever
raise.
lay that down even?
She's in late position.
But in late position, would you call?
Queen 6-6 here on the flop. And no one has a 6 and no one has a queen. Everybody's missed. And it gets checked around. Turns another queen.
Well, you know what? If you're Jennifer, you got to love your hand because now you've got 2 pair with the ace kicker.
And if someone doesn't bet here, you don't think they're necessarily...
Well, Reno's going to bet Jack 9.
And he's going to take it down. Well, yeah, it looks like he's going to take it down. He's got Jack 9 and he takes it down.
Now, this is the thing I'm wondering about. Now, he was second to last to act.
Don't you think he would have bet a queen or a 6?
Yeah, I just don't buy that. Now, if somebody early, up front had checked, well, then they might be looking for a check raise.
There, yeah. Button moves over here to Yuri.
You'll sometimes see from an advanced player, if they suspect somebody is on a steal, like Reno was there, they won't just call. They'll actually raise it up.
Well, and oftentimes from advanced players, too, if everybody checks the flop and they're from up front, they might automatically bet the turn. Like, especially with a queen pair.
Right.
You don't necessarily put anybody in a queen. Jennifer's going to make a raise here. She's got ace 9 of spades. She's going to open this pot up. And Jennifer plays it pretty ABC, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we saw her play, I want to say we saw it last week or the week before that, playing 8-16, or was it 6-12? She played a lot more hands than we thought she would.
Now, Mike has called here with deuce 3 offsuit.
Wow.
Jennifer's got a spade draw and middle pair. Unbelievable. And Mike's going to bet. And Jennifer raises.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
I mean, now if you're Mike...
Yeah, this is one of those times where there's no point in even calling the raise.
Right.
Because there's no card that can come off and you go, well, now I like my hand.
Right. It's funny, I never even knew that Mike might actually take shots at those flops. Sometimes those types of hands are not on.
Yeah. Well, maybe he suspected that Jennifer would be a little weak.
Right.
And maybe he thinks, well, if she's got ace-jack or ace-queen or ace-king, maybe I can get her off it.
I like that camera work. Please, more shots of Jennifer over there in seat 3.
I actually would personally, I'd like more shots of Yuri.
There we go. Let's do a side-by-side, Isaac.
Yeah. Picture in picture?
Yeah. There's Jennifer. Got a raise here by Matt. He's got king, queen suited. And a 3-bet by Yuri. He's got pocket 7s. So he's going to play that. And I would rather play that for a 3-bet. Either a fold or a 3-bet, right, with 7s in that spot. So now he's got control of the hand. And let's see if Matt misses.
Right, as long as Matt misses here.
Jack, Jack, Jack.
I check.
That's a pretty bad flop for king, queen, isn't it? You can't even beat ace-high right now.
Possibly bluffy off this one.
I mean, you think of it. You can't even beat ace-high. You can't beat pocket deuces.
Right.
I mean, oftentimes you look at a flop like that and go, well, what are the odds of my opponent having a jack? Very slim, but is king high good here?
Well, your head's up, and you've got 6 small bets in the pot. He bets a 7th small bet. Can you make the call thinking your king or queen are good getting 7-1 on your money when you have 6 outs? That's the only question I have. It's almost
Well,
like trying to spike with ace king there on that board.
Yeah, no,
If you think your king or
it's
queen
certainly
is
not a
good,
scary board.
Can you just take off 1 to see if you can hit a king or queen on the turn?
I suppose. I mean, I suppose you could.
And actually, you don't
And
even
but-
have to worry about kicker, because if the guy has ace king, it doesn't matter.
Right,
'cause
but
you're
you
gonna
might,
chop.
yeah, you might be calling just for a chop.
Right,
call
right,
If the guy's got ace queen or ace king.
right. Limp here by Mike on the button. Jack 8 offsuit. And we're going to see 4-way action.
Got an email here from Mark Bonagara. I want to get to it in a second.
9-9-6. Now, Jennifer got a free ride in the blind. She's going to come out and bet on the 6 here, and she has the best hand.
It's actually 10-9-6, and Mike is open-ended.
Oh, excuse me. So Jennifer's flopped top and bottom.
Yeah.
And Mike is called with the open-ended straight draw. Jennifer has 2 pair.
It's heads up here.
Turns a queen, and there's the straight for Mike. Jennifer's going to bet. Now, when Mike raises, is Jennifer going to pay him all the way down?
Wow, she's got 2 pair here. You almost have to specifically put him on Jack 8 or
Yeah.
King Jack.
Well, he also can't. She can't be Queen 9, Queen 6, Queen 10.
Queen 10, right.
Right.
What could she beat, actually, that
Yeah.
Mike would raise with?
Here we go to the river. And the river's a 10, and
Oh.
she fills up. And she bets. And Mike is going to pay her off, and she's got a full house. Wow.
Let's see if Mike does the glare. He just shows it in disgust. Oh, and there's the glare. A little bit. I really like Mike. He's such a guy, this guy. I mean, hey, 10-6 there, actually. It's almost a crying call when somebody raises you like Mike.
Right, right.
Isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
you can beat nothing. So he says here, I will go crazy if you mention backdoor flush draws into the player's thinking. If the player is using that logic into their thinking, when they make a call, I want to play with that player all the time because they are dead money. And the only reason we obviously bring up backdoor flush draws is obviously we're doing play-by-play. We have to let you know what the players might be thinking.
Well, you know what, though? If I have overcards and I have the possibility of a backdoor flush
Definitely.
in a big pot, it's an extra out or out and a half or 2 outs to make that small bet call.
No, I mean,
so,
let's say-
you got to
I mean, I'll throw some-
sometimes figure that in your equation.
Let me throw this at you. Let's say you've got ace-jack. The flop
Right.
comes out king-10 blank.
Right.
Right. And you have a backdoor flush draw, plus you've got the gut shot, plus maybe you've got the ace as an
As an
overcard.
overcard, right.
You know, that might, if the pot is big enough, you might take one more off there.
Seat 7's going to open this one for a raise. Queen 10 offsuit. Seat 9 has posted new player. He's called with Jack Deuce of clubs. And Seat 2 is called with Ace 7 of clubs. Reno on the button. Wow, and Reno's flop trip aces.
Yeah.
Nick checks. And Reno's going to slow play it here.
Everybody's drawing dead.
Turns a 5. And Nick is going to now bet. And now Reno is going to raise.
Yep, nobody can make any runner straights now. It's a pretty easy fold for Nick here.
Yeah.
Take it down.
Looks like Mike has left the table here, seat 8.
And obviously, when we bring it up that a player might be thinking of their backdoor flush draw as well, their thinking might not be necessarily correct or profitable, but it still might be in their minds.
Oh, yeah.
Email here from Adam Botticello. He says, I'm a 19-year-old college student. Currently, I'm beating the 10-20 game online consistently. College is not for me, but I'm going to finish it. The only thing in life that really motivates me and keeps me interested is poker. I'd love to play poker for a living, but I want a fallback plan. Do you have recommendations for a degree that could put me ahead in the poker world? Well, that's a great email, and I'll get to it in a second. Limp here by Yuri. Seat 9 is going to limp. And it looks like it's limped around. Seat 9 is Satish. Or seat 1 is Satish. And we are going to say 6-way action. So we're going to see 6 small bets on the flop. Jack 9-3 with a couple of spades. Looks like 9-10 of spades over there for seat 1. Monster flop for him. And he's going to come out and bet. Middle pair flush draw. And we got a raise here by Jennifer. She's got top 2
Yeah.
pair, Jack 9.
She's flopping 2 pair, huh?
So pretty standard.
Seat 1 versus seat 3 now.
Yep, 9-10 of spades against Jack 9. Turns a queen, and now
Wow.
he's made a flush.
Yeah, he actually has an open-ended straight flush draw, too.
He checks, she bets, and he's
He's gonna
going to
raise.
check raise. And now if you're Jennifer, can you fold if you don't fill up on the river?
Well, let's say that was the question before, and last time she filled up.
Oh, and now it's a spade on the river, and he's going to come out and bet.
Wow. Well, I guess he's got
She
the second
folds.
nut there. Only the king of spades is going to beat him.
And she folds. And there you go. Very interesting email there by Adam. And
Yeah,
funny
don't leave
thing-
college. College is
please-
fun,
do,
please.
Well, do not. I can't ever imagine that anyone is ever dropping out of college to play poker. I mean, that is the most asinine thing that I could ever hear.
Well, I mean,
No, I mean to drop out of college and not finish your degree and take on poker professionally. I mean, and the funny thing is, because I think that if poker was big online when I was in college, I think it actually might have affected my work.
oh,
To be
of
honest with
course
you.
it
I'm
would.
glad I was out of college. But you have to get your degree. I mean, it's almost mandatory, and it really doesn't matter.
Well, I think the degree is overrated. I just don't leave college.
No. Well,
It's just too much fun.
I think
Man.
But what I mean by that is undergrad degree. I don't necessarily think you have to specialize in anything, but you need to get your degree nowadays. It's almost like an extension of high school. I mean, what happens if you go and you try to play poker and it doesn't work out and you don't have a college degree? And now 85% of the rest of the country does, and you don't.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know that's the answer you should say. But what the hell has your degree done for you?
Now, listen to me. Undergraduate degrees do not mean anything in the world of specialization these
Of course
days. You
not.
need to go and get graduate degree. You need to get master's, law degree. But everyone has an undergrad degree now. What does your high school diploma do for you, Dave?
Nothing.
Okay, so no one should go to
I
school
mean, the
at
only,
all.
no, I mean, the only thing college did for me was I had a great time, I learned, and I grew up.
Okay.
And I became a man.
That's enough.
But the degree part of it's not quite as important as just going through it, I think.
Well, the point that I am making is that, undergrad college degrees now, it's almost just like a societal requirement.
Right. I mean, it almost seems like a law degree. Half my friends have got a law degree,
Yeah.
but only like 1 out of 10 people that have a law degree are actually lawyers.
Ray's here. Seat 4, Matt. He's got Jack 10 of spades. Seat 5's going to call King Jack. And we've got three-way action here. King, Queen, 6. Well, Matthew is got an open-ended straight draw, and he's going to bet. He's the pre-flop raiser. Now, Robert just calls with King Jack. He does not raise. Excuse me, he has raised.
Yeah, now Matthew also has a backdoor flush draw. Now, once again, it's not a big thing, but hey,
All right.
it does add a little bit of value to the hand.
Matthew calls, so Robert's raised Matthew with top pair. Matthew has called. Turns an ace, and Matthew's got the straight.
Yeah,
and
now-
now he's going to check raise. He's got the nut straight. There it is.
And you're pretty sure Robert will not be able to get away from this hand, will he? Now, Robert's drawn into a chop here. He needs a 10 to chop it up.
Well, if a 10 doesn't come, can you get away from King Jack right now? I mean, you should be able to,
You should
right?
be able to. I imagine Robert's probably going to pay him off, though.
Well, the river's a queen.
And that's one less hand you can't. You can't beat a queen. You can't beat an ace. You can only really tie a king.
Yep. Matt's going to take it down there with the straight.
I mean, you think about it. Even if the guy had, say, king deuce, right? They both have kings and queens with an ace kicker. His jack didn't even play. But it's funny. No, I'm very pro college.
Right.
College really helped me out a lot in many aspects. In terms of degree, though, I mean, there are a lot of degrees. I mean, I think a business degree is a great way to go. Learn how to manage money, and so forth. Maybe a psychology degree. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Possibly in terms of being able to read.
Again,
other
I don't
people.
think it really matters what degree you get as long as you get some sort of undergraduate degree.
Right.
Because you can't go into a field these days without a graduate degree, really. Except maybe with the exception of maybe engineering with an undergrad degree.
Right.
Or maybe accounting.
Or you could be a commentator at Live at the Bike.
Right. Four-way action.
Although both
here.
of us have our degree.
Limped around, yeah. Ace, 8, 6 with a couple of clubs. Now, Jack deuce of clubs over here in the small blind. He's going to come out and bet. He's got a flush draw. It doesn't look, well, and it looks like Robert made the call with Jack 7 with the spade. And he hits a Jack on the turn, but Mike's got a pair now with the club draw. Robert's made the call, and Robert has the best hand right now. And the river is an 8, and this one's going to get chopped up. And this is the type of thing you look at it, and, Robert's going to make the call here, and Mike's going to turn over, they're going to chop him. Like, what did you call me with on the flop?
Yeah, exactly. Backdoor flush draw. But I will say, if you're thinking of dropping out of college, I'll trade with you in a heartbeat. Oh, I will trade in a heartbeat. I talk to my buddies from college all the time, and we all talk about, man, the good old days.
Email here from Oscar Lunar. Says, guys, question about limit hold'em. I usually have a harder time winning at 8-16 versus 20-40. However, I don't have the adequate bankroll to play 20-40 all the time. Even though I have an easier time winning at the higher limits, I always have more of a challenging time with the lower limits. Should I just focus my game on the higher limits without the proper bankroll, or should I just be patient student and spend more time on mastering the 8-16 game?
It's an interesting question, and there are real reasons for that, and we'll get to it in a second.
Again, it always depends on what people's, how they define their bankrolls. It's such a loose term that never means anything absolute.
Right. If you're a professional poker player and you're living on this bankroll, or do you have another job, or do you live at home?
Right.
Or are you a college student?
Right. I believe we had a raise here by Matt with pocket fives, 9-3-3 here.
Nice flop for fives. Imagine he's going to take this down. What do I know?
Well, Robert's called with 7-10 of hearts, and now he's hit a 7. And Matt bets again with pocket fives, and Robert calls again. So again, 7-10 against pocket fives here. And the river is a deuce. Matt checks, Robert bets.
Oh, nice value bet by Robert on the river there,
Yeah, at the 7. River was a deuce of hearts.
Yeah, Matthew's trying to figure out what the guy called with on the turn, not the flop. All he had was 7-10, one overcard to the board, and a backdoor flush draw. That was it.
Right.
Now, it's interesting. Some people will say that, because my wife used to say that because she'd play 3-6 or 4-8, and she would say, God, it's so hard to beat that game. At a game like that, where 6-7 people are entering each pot, you have to be content with almost winning one pot an hour.
Right.
Now, generally, the pots are bigger, and your swings will be bigger in those games. Relative to, obviously, the amount of money that you're buying in for. While in a game like this, in a 20-40 game, where you're getting most pots either heads up or three-way, your swings aren't going to be as bad, obviously. But then again, you're not going to be able to win, that one big pot.
And I still,
yeah,
I find it hard to believe. Three-way action here, limped around. 6, 6, 7 here. Jennifer's got top pair, and she's going to lead out. And seat 5 there, Robert's going to call with queen 5 of diamonds. Turns an ace. Jennifer bets again.
And Robert's one of those guys, he takes one off no matter what. And
River
there are
would
some
have been a
players
queen.
like that.
Sometimes the props at the lower level will tell me, Dave, that, they can beat the 8-16 game for a big bet now or the 6-12. I don't necessarily know if I believe them in terms of what the rake structure is in those games. I just find it hard to think that you can consistently beat the 8-16 game for any type of real profitability.
Well, the 8-16s, okay, I was going to say more 6-12.
Okay, 6-12. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is tough with the high rake when you're where you're taking $5 out of every pot.
Pocket 9s here for seat 4. That's Matt, but seat 1's going to raise with king 9 off suit. And let's see if Matt's going to 3-bet, and he is. Not a bad play there out of the small blind, especially when you've got Robert in there who probably will call any, with any 2 cards to a cold 2-bet. And we're heads up here. Pocket 9s against king 9.
Yeah, he's in real good shape here. Well, not anymore.
Wow, king, queen 10. Matt comes out and bets. And we get a raise here by seat 1
now,
with
can
king
you just
9.
lay this down? So obviously, once again, the jack brings us straight to the ace also.
Yep, and he does lay it down.
The gut check's no good. Now, my advice to, who was the email was actually from a Oscar Luna. And my advice would be, try to be honest with yourself and figure out why you can't beat the 8-16 game and why you can beat the 20-40 game. Is it because the 8-16 game has a bunch of loose passive players and everybody's playing every single pot? Is it because... you got to try to figure out and be honest with yourself why one game has been easier for you to beat. Because maybe that's specific. Maybe there's an element in that 8-16 game that you're not comfortable with yet.
Raise here by seat 8, ace queen. Seat 5's going to call with ace deuce of hearts. And look at that. Yuri, he really calls with any 2 cards in the big blind. He's got 8-3 offsuit. King 8-4, all diamonds, and seat 8's got ace queen with the ace of diamonds. And Yuri's going to come out and bet with middle pair here. Mike is going to raise here with ace queen with the ace of diamonds.
Yeah, and that's Nick, right, in seat 8 now?
Yeah.
He moved over?
Yeah, that's Nick. And Yuri's still in there, Dave, without a diamond. And look at this, he hits trip 8s.
Yeah, he's still...
and he's going to bet again.
If a 3 of diamonds comes out, obviously he's good.
It's just unbelievable. And Nick is going to call.
I know every time we watch 2040 Hold'em, you go into a conniption when you watch this stuff because you just can't believe it.
Yuri comes out and leads again here with the 8. And
And Mike is sick because he can't even call.
Nick, he's got 2 chips
Oh, yeah.
left, I think. That's what he's trying to figure out. Well, is it worth it for me 2 chips here? All in, and he does. He makes the call.
And he was getting about, I want to say, 18 or 19 to 1 on that.
I think it might have been more than that, with 2 chips.
Right, could you make that call?
Right.
I mean, one of the things you've got to be careful about, if let's say you're having a problem beating the 8-16 game because it's filled with loose and passive players, and you want to put a 20 game or a 30 game because it's filled with more professionals.
Right.
Who only, and it's easier, let's say it's easier to put a professional on a real hand because they're in there with like ABC or something. You've got to be prepared that because there might come a time where the 20 game that you play in, some of those players will move up and it will become loose and passive. And you obviously have to be able to adjust your game to your opponents.
Well, I think it's interesting, and it's been noted before, that there's a big gap in this particular casino and in other casinos. I mean, we have no game between 8-16 and 20-40.
Yeah.
And
We
now-
really
yeah.
are in dire need. It almost needs like a 15-30 game. But
This one gets chopped up. I think Maury's is that Maury coming back to the game in seat 8? That's Joe there in seat 9.
Ronald.
Button's moved over here to seat 6.
it's funny that email actually. It reminds me of my wife actually. Sometimes would complain about because I would be playing the 30-60 or the 81-60 game, and she'd be playing the 4-8 game, and she'd complain because there's no way she could beat the game because so many people would call pre-flop.
Matt has raised here with ace-3 of diamonds, and C5 is just called with pocket 9s. Did not 3-bet. And Matt's got a wheel draw and an overcard. He bets, and seat 5 raises with the overpair.
Now,
And Matt 3-bets.
yeah, the interesting with Robert is,
And Robert caps.
you wonder if you can kind of pick up on a tell here. Robert has called with nothing, and he really has rarely showed any strength.
Turns an ace. That's the card that Matt wants to see, one of them.
Wow.
And Matt is probably going to check call here at least. And he does. Robert needs a 9 here. Nope. And he's going to bet here again.
Wow. Well, it is difficult to put your opponent on specifically an ace here, isn't it? I mean, the way Matthew played the hand, would you put him on an ace?
Right.
It is difficult.
Wow. Got about an hour left in the show. Huh? Fun. 20-40. Limit hold'em. We haven't had this game on in quite some time, Dave. Quite some time. And the button moves over here to seat 9. Pocket queens for seat 1. Joe is on the button here, and I think they were just going to chop this one up. Satish has got queens. Of course, he loves to show it, the fact that he's chopping with a big hand.
Thank you.
Interesting post here on 2+2 from Baron Vangertoft. He said, a psychology degree is about equally as useless for playing poker as a business degree or of whatever sort. So the key translation between college and poker is getting you to think, and that's probably the best answer yet.
Of course. Look at Yuri stack those chips over there. My goodness.
If college gets you to grow up a little bit and teaches you a little discipline and a little patience and teaches you the ability to take care of yourself, those are probably the best skills that you can take into your poker profession.
Seat 5 is raised here with King 10 offsuit. Yuri's going to 3-bet with Ace Queen offsuit. Matt's got pocket 3s. He's going to fold, I imagine.
Oh, man.
That or
These are coming.
He's in the big blind. He folds. And Robert calls. And we're heads up. King 10 against Ace Queen. Yuri the pre-flop 3-better. Here we go. Wow, Robert's flopped the nut straight. And he bets it right away, and Yuri's going to raise the top pair best kicker. Now, let's see if Robert just jams himself all in. It looks like he is going to. He 3-bets. And Yuri's going to pretty much put it all in here. Robert has the nuts.
Stick it in.
And Yuri is drawing to some sort of running full house or some sort of chop.
No, not anymore.
Turns a deuce. All in here.
Now he is drawing dead.
3 chips. Yuri makes the call. That's it, folks. Yuri can fold his hand. It's over.
Say goodnight.
Yep.
Another post here from Baron Vangertoft. on 2+2, talking about it drives him nuts. Why do we use, like in this game here, the structure is 20-40. The bet is never smaller than 20. Why don't they use $20 chips?
Well, that's because you want more action in the game. Are you kidding me? You
Right.
want as many chips as possible in the pot.
Yeah, as silly as it might seem to somebody
Yeah.
who really understands poker, or even just the fact that money is money no matter how many chips are in there, to most people, when there are more chips in the middle, it looks like there's more action.
Right.
And oftentimes a 1-2 game will kind of suffer
Right.
because of that. I mean, I've actually seen a 25-50 game played with $5 chips,
Right.
and the pots just get enormous.
Absolutely enormous. Wow, getting word that Sylvester is coming into seat 7. I
Wow.
don't know if he plays a lot of... Well, he plays the 8-16 game sometimes.
Yeah, it'll be
so-
interesting. But it's something that I actually used to wonder about. I
Actually,
used
you
to
know,
wonder.
that's Sonny.
Yeah, Sonny. Something I actually used to wonder, because I was like, if I'm playing 9-18, why don't we just do it with $9 chips?
Joe Wynn has raised here, pocket jacks. Reno's made the call on the cutoff, 9-10 of clubs.
One pencil.
Queen deuce 10, and I guess they check it down against each other. And Joe's going to win here with jacks. No, nobody's got a heart. And there you go.
You got it.
So that's Sonny coming into the game in seat 7, and Sylvester coming in seat 8.
And what do you think of Sonny's game here?
So Sonny's a pretty good player.
He's a local professional.
Yeah, I respect his game. I mean, don't you?
Sonny, I do.
Yeah.
I was actually saying the other day I got stuck. I was so disappointed because I left the commentary. I walked out there. There was a great 10-20 game with some of the usual suspects that people know from Live at the
10-20
Bike.
no limit.
Yeah, 10-20 no limit game,
Yeah.
$1,000 buy-in that I really wanted to get involved in. And instead I was playing 30-60, four-handed with Sonny and Maury.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously not a great game.
Two of the best limit players probably in the whole house, right?
Yeah, I mean, two of the better players. I mean, they're
Yeah.
not going to give away their money, that's for sure.
Right. Jennifer had 5-7 of clubs in the cutoff. She folded. And you know what, though? If Jennifer takes a look at Yuri, who has obviously been calling any two cards, right?
Yeah.
And look at that. Again, Yuri's not chopping, but he'll chop his small blind, but not his big blind. And that's
Maybe it's
hilarious.
against the player.
That is hilarious.
Maybe it's against that player. Maybe he wants to play against Robert.
That is hilarious.
Or you wonder if maybe it's specifically because of the hand he has. But those are the players that drive me nuts because you go, do you chop or not, buddy?
Well, again, 7-5 of clubs, Jennifer, with Yuri in the big blind, I probably fold that too. There's no fold equity.
None. Zero.
And your hand probably isn't better than the average hand. And
Oh, it's
Yuri's been
definitely not better
shown
than
that
that,
he's
yeah.
going to call or take one off or,
Yeah, it's definitely not better than the average hands.
Yeah.
That might be one of the few times. Now, let me ask you this. Let's say you've got pocket 7s or pocket 6s. Might you even just limp in and almost try to trap him?
We got a raise
In a
here
weird
by
way.
Satish with ace-queen offsuit. And Yuri's got king-queen suited. He calls, and Sylvester calls in the big blind.
I mean, having said that, I rarely will limp in on the button.
Queen Jack 8. Satish has got top pair, but Yuri also has top pair.
Hey, Sylvester's got a gut shot.
Yuri's going to come out and bet. Sylvester calls. See if Satish raises. And he does. Wow, and Yuri just 3 bets here. I mean, what can you beat with king-queen to jam it up like this?
Right, exactly. You're losing the queen jack. You're losing the ace queen.
You're losing to queens, jacks. You're
10-9
losing to
you're drawing
kings.
dead to.
The only thing that you beat right now is ace king, right?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, you got to look at the board, and sometimes I wonder if Yuri's doing that.
Yeah, you got to look at it and go. Even if the guy has queen 10 here,
Right.
He's got you've got him beat right now, but he's also got a gut shot.
Right. Turns a 7.
Best Buy, Michaels, all the same shopping centers.
Well, I was gonna say, if Yuri checks right now with ace queen, I bet. If it gets checked to me, I'm betting, and Satish
Yeah.
is going to bet. So we've seen Yuri really jam it up and then kind of check down the turn.
And Sylvester's going to call again. Wow.
Wow.
He needs a king.
Actually, he could catch an ace as well. Oh, no, ace would be no good. River's a 3. And now, will Satish value bet the river here? I love the bet.
Yeah.
And he's going to get called
Yeah, yeah.
by Yuri.
With Sylvester calling the turn, actually, Yuri was actually drawing dead because a king would have
Right.
given Sylvester the pot.
Right.
Anything other than a king gives Satish the pot.
Oftentimes we see people check down the river with ace queen in that spot. I love the bet there
Yeah.
and limit hold.
Definitely.
It's another $40. Nice play by Satish there on the river.
If Yuri had queen jack, you would have heard from him.
Absolutely. He's not going to shut down.
Yeah.
if Yuri check raises me on the turn, well,
Okay, well then
that's a little bit different.
you got to re-examine it,
Right.
obviously.
Right.
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. We're playing Limit Hold'em tonight. The limits are 20 and 40. You
Yep.
can catch us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m.
That's right.
And Wednesday's show is a real treat for everybody and for us. I'm looking forward to it. We've got World Series of Poker World Champion Joseph Hashim.
And Kenna James, second place winner here at WPT event at Legends.
Yeah, we got
this
both
past
of them
August.
Wednesday. Once again, that's the World Series of Poker Champion, Joseph Hashim. Him and Kenna battling it out on Wednesday night.
Limped around here.
I mean, where can you... Best thing about it is, where else could you possibly see Joseph Hashim play in a live cash game? Nowhere.
High school.
I guess I was
10, deuce, 3 here on the flop. It was limped around. Sonny needs to show his cards over there.
Yeah,
in
Robert's
C7.
got a gut shot. Gut shot wheel draw. He's going to bet it.
but you knew that Zed was dead. I could do your eye.
And Sonny's just going to fold. He's not going to bother showing. He's just going to lay it down.
We didn't see how he died.
And Joe's got nothing here. I imagine Joe's going to lay this down as well.
Probably.
Who else was home?
Email here from Jay Siegel. Says, hey guys, what college degrees do you have? Well, I graduated from Syracuse in 2001. I have a television, radio, film management degree.
A what?
Television, radio, film management degree.
Okay.
Syracuse is like a
Newhouse,
big,
right.
big communications school. It's kind of like a film business undergrad degree. And political science degree as well. And a theater minor. And what did you have for a degree?
I actually had a double major. I majored in biology and theater.
Biology, really?
Well, it's funny. I went to school. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted. And everybody told me, well, just take courses and you'll figure it out. And then by the end of my sophomore year, when we have to pick our majors, I noticed that I only needed like 3 more classes to finish my biology.
Right.
I was like, well, I might as well do that. And I had a philosophy minor.
Limp in here by pocket deuces in seat 5. And got the blinds in the hand. Joe's got a king 4 offsuit. He's going to complete. King 3 offsuit. And Satish's got rags and the big blind. Here we go.
Well, ace 4-3.
10-4 over here for Satish is the best hand.
Well, he's got rags, and rags are good now, huh?
Well, Joe comes in bets here with king 3, and Satish calls.
And
Second pair, and Robert's going to take one off for the gut shot.
Yeah, this time he's got a wheel draw.
Turns a 4, and now Satish has got trip 4s. And now if you're Joe, can you really bet out here with king 3? You can't beat an ace, you can't beat a 4. And Satish doesn't bet.
No, wow.
And the river's a 7. I'm
And you
really
wonder
surprised.
if a deuce or a 5 had come out
Yeah.
there, you know, Robert would have won the hand.
Now
Joe's
Satish
actually
is going to
drawing.
bet.
Joe was drawing dead there.
Thought it was funny.
Robert is not going to pay off.
No, and I think Joe probably laid this down too.
Well,
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny with a biology degree and a theater degree. Most people say that I was perfectly suited for a job on ER,
right.
but that never happened.
I went to good old Newhouse, Syracuse.
Because I watched it like a year ago.
Button moves over there to seat 9. Well, Baron Vangertoth follows up there, David, says, why don't we use $1 chips for this game? He still thinks that it's better to use, I guess, the least amount of chips. But you know what? You know, he says, if all games used as few chips as humanly possible, it would make all of them work better. It's just not the case, Baron.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
I personally happen to agree with that in the sense that, yes, it would work better.
Right.
The games would go quicker. We'd
Right.
get more hands in per hour.
right.
It just doesn't happen. Because what happens is, yes, the professional poker player sees that.
Right.
But the player that you want in the game, the fish, sees more chips as more action.
Absolutely. King 8-5 here. Reno's got top pair. He checked it from up front. Trying to get a little tricky with it, possibly?
I mean, it's funny, though. We had an 8-16 game here and a 10-20 game going on at the same time.
Right.
The 8-16 game was 4-8 structure. The 10-20 game was a 1-2 structure.
And the 8-16 game played much bigger than the 10-20.
Much bigger, Plus, we had 4, 5, 8, 16 games while we'd struggled to get 1, 10, 20.
Look at this. Satish has made 2 pair on the turn. He's bet, and Reno has just called here with top pair, second nut flush draw. And the river's a 4. Reno played this hand pretty slow the whole way.
Yeah, and Satisha's good here, and he's
And
just gonna call.
Satish checked. Reno bet. Satish just check called, afraid of the 7. Reno said, okay, I'll bet with king queen. But
Yeah.
Satish made 2 pair on the turn. Wow.
And I don't mind the bet by Reno. Sometimes people go, well, why do you bet that? And I'm a big fan of value betting on the
Absolutely.
river.
Absolutely.
You know, my attitude is that if my opponent can't bet it, well, maybe I can.
Right.
Yeah, they picked up some good.
Sand, gold. I can't believe you actually tried to convince me.
No, we didn't cry.
You did. You were the only one who said it. He just wrote it up there.
You know, it's funny. My wife actually, growing up kind of in a non-traditional format, you know, she was homeschooled for a while.
Was she really?
Yeah, and she never, you know, both her parents being actors and actresses, she never actually went to college, so to speak. You know, and she was an actress right away. But she said she actually notices that there is a bias against her. You know, almost like people just perceive her as, oh, you didn't go to college, you must be stupid.
Well, I mean, regardless of whether it's good or bad, as seat 1 is going to raise here, can't see his cards. Now, Reno's got ace king of clubs. Yeah, we need to see Satish's cards. Yeah, this is getting really, I'm sure this is a nightmare for Ronnie, our card guy. A lot of these players aren't used to putting the cards up in the window.
Oh, wow.
Queen 8 jack. Nice flop for Reno with ace king of clubs.
Yeah.
Now, Satish looked like he bet, and Reno just check called. Turns an 8.
And
Satish is
Jennifer's
gonna bet
not in the
again.
hand, folks.
And Reno looks like he just check calls again. And
Oh,
Reno,
wow.
he played it slow and he missed everything.
Yeah.
And it goes check, check on the river.
Now,
Really
this is what I was
surprising.
going to ask you here. Before, when you had the ace-queen of clubs, in this case, ace-king clubs, huge flop for you. You've got
Right.
overcards, you've got a gut shot, and you've got a flush draw.
Right.
I mean, you're definitely a favorite. I mean, you're talking about, I want to say, 18 outs on the flop.
Right.
I mean, you're probably close to like a 64-36 favorite there.
Yeah.
But he slow played it, never got there, and lost a pot.
Right.
And if he had raised at some point, he might have gotten 9s off it.
What I was going to say is it's a bias because just like it's a bias, Dave, if you don't have a high school degree. I mean, that's even worse. Like I said,
Yeah.
whether it's good or bad, whether it's wrong or right, college now is pretty much a required part of everyone's
Yeah, I mean,
education.
clearly, I mean, obviously, I think it's wrong in the sense that you can't judge somebody's intelligence by
Right.
whether they went to college or not.
Right.
Some people grew up in a place where everybody went to school.
Right.
Everybody went to college, and some people didn't.
Yeah.
You know, and
Raise here by seat 9.
obviously, it's not really a barometer of how smart you are if
Right.
you went to college or not.
Ace queen here for Joe Wynn.
Yes, I do.
I usually defend my.
And I don't think Matthew's going to call this now. Joe takes it down.
I mean, I've never really gone out in the traditional sense, just because of what my situation was, and had to go out and quote unquote find a job. Like coming out with kind of a miscellaneous major like political science and say, all right, I just
Right.
need to find a job. I've never really had that situation happen to me, but I would imagine that it would be 1,000% more difficult to do that without a college degree, especially
course.
around a major city.
Of course, well,
I mean,
I mean, it's 100%.
yeah,
You're right there.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I've got like ace 5. Queen jack.
I mean, I will say, I mean, my wife actually admits, she says that she missed out. I mean,
Right.
she wishes she had gone to school.
Yeah.
Um,
Joe Wynn is going to raise here a king queen offsuit.
About to show that hand.
Now we had an early position limper here. I hate this limp. Seat 7 there. Nick's played it pretty well all night. He's got ace deuce of clubs. In a tight game, Dave, I don't think that hand has much value at all. Under the gun.
yeah.
Pocket threes is going to come in. And that's actually Sonny that made the limp with ace deuce of clubs. So there you go. 8-6-4. You know, the funny thing is, oftentimes, even some of the props that I respect,
Fine.
like I said, and Joe's going to make a bet here with king queen.
Kind of a continuation bet here.
Wow, and Sonny's going to call. And now he's picked up a club draw.
Now, does Sonny bet this?
Let's see if he might come out and bet now.
I know you're sitting here with a horror look on your face. Like, what is he doing?
Check call here again on the turn.
I wish Isaac would cut to the booth right now and get a look of your face.
And the river's a deuce. He's got a pair now. And now is Joe going to bet, thinking he's got a bet to win? And does Sonny call? And Joe's going to bet. And Joe says, I put you on a deuce. And Sonny calls. He calls with ace deuce.
Oh, man.
Wow.
this bewildered look on your face. I love it.
Unbelievable. Well, maybe Sonny was just playing Joe Wynn there.
Yeah.
Figuring, you know what?
I just remember you sitting there going, yeah, I really like Sonny's game. I mean, I really like this game. I really respect this game. And then you're seeing the way Sonny played that hand, and you're going, what?
Well,
am I looking at the cards right?
Again, though, I still respect Sonny's play, but
No, I do too.
I do question some of the props that play here at the bike. And again, like I said about Maury, sometimes their early position pre-flop hand selections. Yeah. And even a player like Betty, anyone who's familiar with Betty at the table here, she'll limp in with ace rag suited from early position. I just never think that hand has any value.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes when you play 40 hours a week in, week out, you fall into bad habits once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to play perfect poker all the time.
Right.
You know, sometimes you're playing great for 3 months and you don't notice any leaks, then suddenly you just do something stupid, you win a hand, and then suddenly that leak starts developing in your game.
Pocket jacks here for Joe. He's going to raise.
I mean, if you're a professional poker player, you've got to constantly shore up the holes in your game.
And look at this 7-deuce off suit. Yuri's not going to defend here, Dave.
What?
Well, we saw him defend with 8-3, but 7-deuce is a little too weak for him. Joe's going to take it down.
Take it down, Joe.
Yeah. About, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes, 30 minutes left, 40 minutes left in the show. Really looking forward to Sunday, Dave. Bounty. And ace-king of spades here for Sonny in the big blind. And Joe Wynn is going to raise. He's got king-queen suited. Now, Sonny's got ace-king suited in the big blind. We've got an under-the-gun. Actually, you know what? Sylvester limped with ace-king suited. Excuse me.
Don't give up, Sonny.
So Sylvester limps. There you go. He's got the limp with ace-king suited. And he's going to limp re-raise. Always an interesting play in limit, Dave, I think. The limp re-raise. And Joe's going to cap it with king-queen of clubs.
Yeah, the limp re-raise and limit hold'em.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh. It really does.
And Sylvester made it 5 bets. Joe made it 4 bets. Sylvester made it 5 bets.
Now, can you put your opponent on aces here and throw it away?
And Joe calls. So 5 bets times 2 players, pre-flop. Sylvester's almost all in.
It's a $200 pot here. And Joe's in terrible shape.
See if Joe flops a queen. Oh, there's the ace. Well, now Joe can. Look at this. A bet and Joe raises.
Well, Joe is trying to represent. He's trying to. He thinks
Sylvester
maybe
3 bets.
Well, he thinks maybe Sylvester's playing.
And now Joe folds. I think Joe's going to fold now.
Well, so I understand Joe's thinking there. Sylvester played it so hard pre-flop. He's hoping that he knows. He goes, okay, this is probably got pocket aces or pocket kings.
Well, Joe calls.
Wow.
Unbelievable. So 3 bets on the flop. Turns an 8, and now Joe's drawing dead.
I didn't think it was possible, but Joe has found a way.
What is he doing?
I don't know. He has found a way.
River's another ace. Is he going to call it off? He just donated. He donated basically to Sylvester, gave him $200 that hand. He just said, here, Dave, here, take my $200.
Hey, you're actually being nice. It was actually 240.
Yeah.
100 free flop. 60 on the flop.
And look at this. Is Joe back there trying to listen into the wall?
Wait, it was 100 on the pre-flop, 60 on the flop, 40 on the turn,
right,
and then 40 on the river. $240 with king high.
Right.
I actually was going to say, I mean, I understood the play, the way Sylvester played the hand. He played it like he had aces or kings. And when the ace comes on the flop, well, maybe you can raise him and scare him out if he has kings. But when he pops you back, you almost have to put him on pocket aces, don't you?
Raised here by Reno. He's got king 10 of spades. Seat 5 is called. Button's going to call with 9-10 of hearts. And we've got 3-way action. Jack 5 deuce, and look at this. The button's flopped the flush.
Yuri's got the flush.
And he actually is going to bet. Jam that pot. I love the bet.
Reno calls with king 9 of spades.
Yeah. Oh, turns another heart.
Yeah, but now he's got the open-ended straight flush draw. And what is Reno in there with, though?
No, he's going to fold now.
It's all black.
So this is the one thing that I don't really understand about limit hold'em. The flop's Jack 5 deuce hearts. You have King 9 spades. Your opponent bets.
You
What do
check
you-
and he bets, yeah.
Yeah, what do you call him for?
Maybe he's just figuring, he's playing against Yuri. Maybe if he spikes a king, it'll be good, or maybe even a 9.
Okay.
I don't know.
okay,
I mean-
right? I mean, I'm just curious.
River would have been the 8 of hearts.
Wow,
He
so
would've made a
he would
straight
have
flush.
made the straight flush there.
Yeah.
Got an email here from Siegel Hofke.
No,
And
this is
it's,
the same guy, Jay Siegel.
Oh, Jay Siegel, Jay Bugsy Siegel here. He says, I majored in procrastination with a minor in plagiarism. That's pretty funny. I like that.
Buttons over there. Sonny. Sonny's got pocket jacks. Oh, Matt's got aces. Let's see if Sonny 3-bets here with jacks on the button.
I think it's a pretty straightforward play to 3-bet here with Jackson button. Obviously, no limit hold'em. It's not as quick a play.
Sonny
But
3-bets.
In limit hold'em, we really want to get out those blinds. Don't
Yuri
you?
called with queen jack offsuit, and Matt's probably going to cap from up front, and he does. And let's see if Yuri's going to get out. No, he's going to call 4 bets with queen jack offsuit. Aces, jacks, and queen jack offsuit here.
It's about even money, all these guys, right?
Here we go, 3-way action. Nice flop for Matthew. He's going
Uh-oh.
to bet.
Bad flop for Sonny. Sonny might get in trouble here.
Yuri's going to fold. Sonny is just going to call. Now, does he just call the whole way down?
Don't look so
Turns to
disgusting.
3.
Man.
Matt bets again.
Yeah, limit hold'em. See, this is one of the toughest things in limit hold'em.
Yeah.
Can you get away from an overpair in limit hold'em?
Right.
I know in no limit, obviously, you have to be able to get away from it.
Matt's going to bet again. Yep. Sonny says, I still have to call. Yep.
And this is one of the reasons why I love limit players that come to my no limit game. You just love it. Because you know there's no way they're throwing away jacks.
On an overpair, like for
Oh,
all
there's
their
no-
money, right?
there's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take Sonny, and I think Sonny's he's a very good limit hold'em player.
Right.
If you take him to a no limit game, and he's got say $1,200 or $1,300 behind him, he'll probably go broke on that hand.
Now we don't know that for sure, but you're
No, I don't. I'm speculating,
right.
obviously.
Right.
It seems like that with a lot of limit players. They overplay.
Well, again, I mean, the other biggest thing, as I see more and more limit props trying to make the transition to no limit, because they know that really is the game here, Dave. I mean, you look out in the plaza, we've got 15 no limit games and a dying 20 game. Sometimes. It's a thing where
Two monkeys.
as we get, I think I got in trouble by saying that. I'm sorry. Deuce 5 here on the flop.
Yeah, but I mean, you didn't misspeak in the sense that limit hold'em is definitely a dying game.
Right, that's what I
As
mean.
compared to no limit
That's
hold'em.
what I meant.
Over the last 4 years, no limit hold'em has probably exploded 500%.
Right.
While limit hold'em is obviously losing its patrons
Right.
to no limit.
Yuri's going to continue to. Well, Reno came out and bet here on the turn, and Yuri raced with a wheel draw.
Yeah, and that's Yuri. Exactly how you say it.
And actually, you know what? It was actually Reno.
Okay.
Check raised. Excuse
Reno
me.
check race. Thank
Yeah.
you. There you go.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
And the point that I was trying to get at is,
What was that?
I have seen limit props start really trying to play no limit now.
Yeah.
Because they know it's the future. But they still don't know how to bet in no limit. They have no clue
well, it's something,
about
you know.
the amount to bet.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely aspects of no limit hold'em. One of the biggest aspects of no limit hold'em is how much to bet, and it's something that only you really can only learn that from playing, from experience.
Yep.
But we see a lot of players that make a living, professional poker players. That I'll give you an example. Joe Wynn, not the one at this game, but the gentleman who won the 2000 World Series of Poker bracelet for
Right.
Stud High Low. This is a guy who basically made his living the last 15 years
20-40 limit hold'em.
playing 20-40 limit hold'em,
And stud high low.
playing stud high low or a little bigger games, but
Right.
limit.
Right.
And now the only game we ever see him in
Is
is
no
no
limit.
limit.
Yeah.
Because he's recognized that that's where the game is. That's
Right.
the future of poker.
Right.
Got ace, king,
And
ace,
again,
king, down.
unquestionably, I think the bike has the best no-limit games in
Oh.
the city. In terms of leveling and game selection, your choice of levels, I don't even think there's a question.
I
love the
you couldn't
5-10
be
game.
more right.
Yeah. I love 5-10 game here is great. We got a raise here by Yuri. He's got ace-king.
Yeah, big select there.
And Sonny's going to make a cold call with ace-jack off suit. I might have 3-bet Yuri with that hand.
Especially Yuri, right?
Yeah, yeah. Jennifer, well, we haven't heard much from her.
Yeah, ace jack offsuit. I like the three bet it or throw it away. I don't like to call a raise with ace jack
Funny thing
offsuit.
about Jennifer, and I want to bring it up, is, I don't necessarily know if she's 100% comfortable with this game. I've never actually seen her play 20-40 Hold'em before.
She's been playing a lot of 20-40 stud high low.
But again, that game plays much smaller.
Yeah, and she does play the 10-20 mix game a lot, but I don't normally see her in this game.
Wow, look at this. King 8 deuce. Yuri bet and Sonny called. And Sonny's going to call again. He's picked up a gut shot draw. He needs a queen, and a queen only. And the river's another king.
And is he going to pay off?
It looks like he is. I guess, again, he's playing Yuri. He just does not believe Yuri.
Well, and that's one of the things with Yuri, by making a move occasionally here and there.
Right.
Look at him getting paid off.
Right.
To the tune of, it get paid off all the way to the river with a guy who's almost drawing dead.
Well, we saw Jennifer really open her game up in the 8-16 game like last week. But again, I haven't really seen her play 20-40 Hold'em at this casino before. She might be just playing a little bit conservatively.
Which is not a bad way to go when you're playing limit Hold'em, right?
Right. So the button's over there in seat 3. And we got a little limp here on the cutoff by Reno with 4-5 offsuit.
4 players.
4-way action. Queen Jack 3 on the flop. Matthew's got a bottom set and he bets. And Yuri makes a call with a gut shot. So Matt's flop bottom set, he comes out and bets it right away. Yuri needs a 10 here. The turn's a 9, and now he's picked up a pair. Matt's going to bet again. And Yuri looks like he just calls. River's a deuce, and I'm sure Matt's going to bet again.
Oh, yeah, it's an easy bet there.
And Yuri's going to fold it.
It's funny. At least Yuri didn't pay him off with a pair of 9s there. I'm not sure if the 2+2 thread, I'm not sure if it's there for us more or we're there for it more. I find it so entertaining. I love this. One post here from Baron Wenger Trust. Bart actually said, I find the limp re-raise to be an interesting play. This is the world where Bart's dictionary lists interesting as bad. Got Russ McGinley here calling Joe retarded. I find this thread so entertaining.
We had a question here by Hawk. Hey Dog, excuse me. Hey Bart, how do you get into this free roll bounty on the LA poker scene? Well, sometime during this week it will be in one of the tournament selection drop-down boxes on the LA poker scene, so check it out.
Yeah, and this is a bounty against you.
Bounty against me.
Yeah.
Seat 4.
I'm going to play. I can't wait. How much money is on your head?
I'm not exactly sure yet. We'll get the details later on.
You know what? I don't even care there's no money. Just the pride of beating Bart. Wait a second. I just did that. I did that last night.
3-way action. Limped around. All black and everyone missed. Well, Satisha's got middle pair. And Yuri's going to come out and bet with King 3 of diamonds, and Satish calls.
He's got a draw. Look, he's got a flush draw. 2 more spades, he's got a flush.
Wow, Satish hits trips. Yuri's going to bet, and you'd imagine that Satish is going to raise.
Really? Wow, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
He lays.
And Yuri folds, and you got to know that Yuri has no part of that if he's going to fold to the raise there, right?
Right. I mean,
Yep.
okay. Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching Limit Hold'em Monday nights here. Limits are 20 and 40. And there's another chip
And I
count
think
there.
Matthew might be one of the biggest winners at the table, unless I don't know if I can get confirmation on how much Satish started with, but I think he's up pretty big as well.
Probably a good guess.
I think Satish had 1,000, so he's up like maybe $800.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Pocket jacks for seat 2, but pocket kings for seat number 7, I believe, and that's Sonny. Reno's going to raise. Sonny's got kings over there in seat 7.
Yeah.
And he's in the big blind, so he's probably going to 3-bet. Oh, Sonny just calls with kings.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, he wasn't the big
And
blind.
seat
And
5's got queen jack on the...
I guess he figured there's no way I was going to get rid of this guy. Let me see the flop.
What about for and look at this, the ace comes.
I was going to say, let's see if I can get a safe flop and then take the pot down. And now what is Sonny going to get involved,
Well,
though?
Sonny checks. Reno bets. So he is going to overcall. Well, three-way action.
I thought maybe he was going to wait to see a flop without an ace before he got aggressive, but he's going to call anyway with the kings.
Gets checked now around a Robert, and he's going to bet his gut shot. And Sonny's going to continue to call with
Now,
kings.
if you're Reno here, can you get away from
Yeah, I
this?
think at this point, if you're Reno, you do fold. But he made the call. And the river's a 4, and Sonny's good with kings.
Yeah.
All right, I'll behave.
Sonny's going to take it down with kings.
But
I believe I got a
folded.
best all the way.
I did the right thing.
But the ace will stop everybody.
Right. I know.
There you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to see the ace at all.
I know, the ace stopped everybody.
I had a fucking piece twice.
That's some good analysis there.
Yep, did want to see the ace.
Win, but that's not the point.
Can you believe that?
I don't want
I would play so slow.
Well, Dave, three-handed with kings. Yeah, I'm going to raise out of the big blind 100% of the time.
You got an ace king?
You're raising for value
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
If it's heads up, you might just call. Well, let's sort of say let's say Yuri were to bet, right? And you're in the big blind, and the small blind folds. Might you just smooth call that?
To try to check raise the turn, you mean?
Yeah, either check raise the turn, or you might even check raise the flop. I mean, you're basically getting more money in that pot. You're basically.
But the thing about check raising the flop is you've gotten the same amount of money as if you were to 3-bet pre-flop.
Good point.
So, I mean, that's the thing with
Good
that.
point.
I know. I don't
And you never know. Sometimes showing strength, sometimes you can 3-bet it, come right out and bet it. You might even get a raise for him with nothing.
Three-way action here.
Now she flops it.
Jack 9 deuce with a couple of spades. Sonny's got top pair.
Yep.
He's on the button, and he's going to bet. And
Actually, I think he's in the small blind. Right?
you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So he did come out and bet right away, though.
And Sylvester raised him,
Sylvester did raise with the second pair.
and seat 5 call with queen 8 of diamonds.
Well, there you go.
Turns a queen. Seat 5 is all in.
Now,
Now Sonny's
Sonny-
going to come out and bet again.
Well, he's got an open-ended straight draw plus the 10 of spades. And Sylvester's not going to go anywhere. He's got the king of spades.
And he's going to raise again.
Wow.
And that lights up Sonny's eyes, but Sonny's going to call.
I mean,
Here we go to the river. River's a 7. Might this one just go check, check?
hey, well, Robert's got the best hand here, but Sonny's going to win the side pot.
Yep. So Sylvester did raise the turn there and then check the river.
Yeah. I mean, it's the one thing you wonder, making moves in limit hold'em in a game like this.
Doesn't seem to be really working against the solid players either.
No, it
Yeah.
almost seems like I was saying,
Yeah.
for my own game, I felt like it was a leak. There's no point in really ever
Right.
making a move in this game.
Right, right.
You don't need to.
Button moves over there to
Because nobody ever
7.
believes you anyway.
Right.
Yo, you can make big money from me, okay?
Kind of cool little Valentine's Day week tournament here we got going on. We've got this play with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, play against your boyfriend or with your girlfriend, and play by yourself if you are a girl. We have a women's only tournament. And I want to say that's February 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yep.
Next weekend. And I believe Friday and Saturday night's tournament start at 7:15 p.m. Sundays is at 2:15. Kind of a fun way to play the spend your weekend before Valentine's Day.
Seat 5 open limp with Jack deuce of spades. And seat 5's in there with the blinds. 9, 6, 7. And
Top-
Joe's gonna go. Yeah, he's gonna bet out with queen 9.
Yep.
Robert's out of there. And Sylvester's not gonna get involved.
Don't do that. Not to the river yet.
And this is the thing with Joe. This is one of the reasons why Joe is so much better suited for limit hold'em. Once in a while, you'll just, I don't know why, inexplicably you'll see him give away $240. Like we saw
Right.
with King Queen.
Right.
And I mean, you wouldn't think that he'd be able to survive that, even in a limit game.
Right.
But I guess he only lost $240 in that one. While we've seen him in no limit sometimes give away $2,400.
How about $24,000 one night?
Yeah, I know. You're right. I mean,
The river.
while, one mistake in limit hold'em might
Right.
cost you the pot, might cost you a couple $100.
Right.
A mistake in no limit obviously can kill you.
I actually haven't seen Joe play no limit recently, David. He might have stepped back from that game a little bit.
Well, hey, get your ass reamed night in, night out, you're going to stop playing.
Limp here by seat 5. 9-10 offsuit.
Seat not open.
Complete here in the blind. Three-way action here. Jack 7, 9-10, and Queen 5.
Only ball. No, well, Queen 5's got a pair. 2 pair here. 6s and 5s.
Well, Joe checks it from up front. Everybody checks. Well, now it sees Joe's going to lead now.
Yeah, pretty easy bet here.
There you go.
Yeah, and Satish's picked up a gut shot, but I can't imagine him getting involved.
And like you said, Dave, it's almost like a case where you say, well, might you raise here with a 4 and then, a 4 and a pair? Like if you had 3-4 here, would you raise? But again, I don't know if Joe would lay down Queen 5 at this point.
Well, that's the thing. In limit hold'em, it doesn't seem like it's worth it. Now, in no limit, if you were to make a big bet on the turn there with a 4, if you think your opponent only has a 5 or a 3, hey, can he call a big bet there? I'm not sure. Limit hold'em, though, it's only one extra bet.
Button moves over here to seat 9. Got about 20 minutes left in the show.
I got to tell you, this is actually the best thing that could have happened to my game watching this tonight.
Think so? Yeah. I told you before, Dave, you're making too many moves in limit
I
hold'em.
am, yeah.
Yeah.
Way too many moves. I mean, the moves I make in no limit, obviously, they pay off.
Right.
But
because you had told me that you almost were feeling like you were less comfortable in limit games because of your no limit play, because you were just trying to move it up too much.
Well, I mean, I do think that, a lot of people will say you specialize in one game. You can play all different games, like Larry Greenstein. He plays every game, but he does have his best game.
Well, Robert limped in here with pocket 9s. Queen 7 of spades in there. Ace 10 of clubs. And we got 4-way action.
I finally have to play over. What do you know?
Wow, 3-3-3. Well, Robert's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, that's a pretty good flop for 9s, huh?
Well, Satish's going to come out and bet with Ace 10.
Hey, it's not a terrible flop for Ace 10.
Seat 5 raises.
Yeah, pretty straightforward there.
Satish's going to call. Well, you got to guess he figures there's no way this guy has a 3.
Oh, wow.
Now Robert got the big end, and Satish's drawing dead.
No, he's not drawing dead, actually. A 3 would give him the pot.
That's right. That's right. A 3 would give him a pot with 4 3s with the ace kicker.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That would be a bad beat.
Right.
I've actually seen that. It was a reverse thing. It was more like...
Where's Ed?
Yeah, good look at him now. The flop was actually the reversed. It was like 9-9-9.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It was 9-9-5, right? And a guy had a set of 5s. And the turn was a 9, and the river's a 9. I mean, you get the worst hand possible, pretty much. Your 5 don't even play. Brutal hand.
It's funny. I kind of felt like I got tossed around like a little rag doll on Friday night. Although, talking over with you, I just really didn't play any hands. Just the one hand I played kind of played a little weakly on the turn. If I had played that hand correctly, I would have won. But I wasn't really getting hands. But you and I went out, and people were giving money away after the show.
Yeah.
You played in the 10-20. I played in the 5-10. I mean, I'll tell you about a hand I had in the second here. King Jack suited limps in seat 8.
Yeah, it was a very nice way to end the week.
Right. 5-way action here. Limped around.
Yeah, so that's 5-way. That's a $100 pot, folks.
Yeah.
Ooh,
3,
set of
5,
5s.
10. Jennifer's got a set, and she's going to lead right out. Does anyone have anything to call her with here?
No, I don't think so, but that doesn't mean anything in this game.
Well, Spencer's not going to call with King Jack.
Wow, what a risk there. What a risk there.
Look, and they give her respect. A little more respect than she probably wants.
Yeah.
In that case.
Dave, I had 6-9 of clubs. I was in the big blind.
Yeah.
I had actually built a stack up from 1,000 to 2,500, and this other guy at the table, we were playing 7-handed, had me covered. He made a raise to about 40 pre-flop. A guy in the button called, and I called. The flop came 9-6-6. I checked. He bet 100. The guy in the button called. I check raised to 350. He re-raised to 700. The guy in the button folded. I moved all in for 2,000, and the guy called me with aces.
Wow.
Yeah, he did not catch an ace. But this is what I'm just talking about, giving money away.
And you doubled up there.
Right.
And the interesting thing I'm curious of is you're a strong advocate for betting right into the razor. You flop a full house. Why didn't you bet right into the razor there?
Change it up a little bit.
Yeah? Figure maybe he watches the show.
I'm not this guy. Raised here by Sylvester with ace-8 offsuit. Robert is going to call.
Badly dominated Robert is here. Talk about playing hands that are badly dominated. Oh, now he's almost drawing. He's really drawing slim here. He needs some sort of runner.
Sylvester bets with ace-jack.
And
And Robert's going to call.
Takes
That's
one
what we're
off
talking
here.
about with
Yeah.
ace-8. Turns a deuce.
And he's officially drawing dead now.
Sylvester bets again.
Imagine Robert's going to throw it away here. He likes to take one off. Usually throws it away in the turn if he doesn't catch anything. Yeah, and he does.
And this is the other thing, too, that now I realize. Sometimes people, a lot of times, will say, well, if you raise, say, with ace-king and the flop comes out garbage, you bet on the flop, and then you check the turn to take a free card. You know what? The way I'm seeing this, I say bet the turn. And then maybe check it on the river. I would rather bet the turn and check it on the river than check the turn and face a bet on the river to call.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand, yeah. Get an email here from Andrew here. He missed something we just said. He said, hey, guys, just in a big pot online and wasn't listening carefully enough. Who was the guy you said played 20-40 Hold'em and stud high-low for 15 years? Was that Joe Hashim? No, actually, it was Joe Wynn.
Joe Wynn's a local pro.
Yeah, one of our local pros here who actually won the World Series of Poker bracelet. He won stud high-low in the year 2000.
Right.
And he's moved his game over to no limit. But thanks for the email, Andrew. Keep them coming. We do appreciate the
Sylvester's
email.
got ace-king of clubs here, and he just limped in here again, Dave. He did this before. And Joe Wynn is going to raise with ace-5 offsuit. And Sylvester has Joe dominated. But Joe is taking control of the hand.
What's that for limit?
And Sylvester has pulled the limp re-raise again. He did this again before, Dave. Limp re-raise with ace-king of clubs. And now Sonny's in there for 3 bets with 7-8 in the big blind.
Wow.
Sylvester loves to limp re-raise with ace-king suited. Here we go. Wow, and Sonny's flopped a pretty big hand here. Middle pair open-ended. He checks. Sylvester bets. Now, can Joe just get away from ace-5 on this board? He's going to call.
No, he cannot.
Sonny calls.
I don't mind just a call here by Sonny because he's out of position. If he raises it and he gets re-raised, he drives out the other player, and you don't want to drive him out.
Turns a 5,
Well,
and
there you
now
go.
Sonny has a straight. And Sonny checked it.
Yeah,
Sylvester bet again.
How often do we see people...
And Joe's going to raise with ace-5.
Oh, my.
And look at this. Sonny instantly makes 3 bets. Instantly, and Joe folds.
Yeah, and Sonny's
There you
going to
go.
take this down. Now, the interesting thing is how many players do we see, though, on a flop like that, they will raise out of... They will check raise out of position.
Right.
Then you get the other guy to 3-bet it, and you get the other guy out of the hand, where you actually want those players in the pot. You end up putting more money in with your draw. I really like the way Sonny played that hand.
I go in the office and I check, make sure you got a real hand.
You know, the one thing that's interesting also, we were talking about playing many different games. I kind of aspire, I really like to think of myself that I can play every game. Deuce to 7, or Padugi, or Stud, or whatever it might be. But I do feel like you should have one game that is your best game. And then be good at other games, and learn at other games. So I think TJ Cloutier actually said that you can be an expert in 3 games. Was
Well,
what he said.
I got to tell you, my expertise, I have
Your
no
expertise.
problem at being an expert in no-limit hold'em and split games.
That's what you're looking to try to, you know...
I love Omaha High-Low, man.
Yeah.
And the more and more I play limit hold'em, the more and more I hate it. Even though I think I am a pretty good player at it, it almost bores me to tears sometimes. Got a raise here by seat 1.
He lays, not me.
Maury's back in the game here, seat 6.
Hey, the nature of a professional poker player in and out of games.
Yep.
That's the ball.
Jumping around, looking for the good ones.
3-way action here. Seat 1 brought it in for a raise with King 10 offsuit. Sylvester has the same hand, and Reno's in there with King Deuce of Diamonds. Well, maybe Reno posted from behind. Jack 8-7. I would be really surprised to see if he called 2 bets cold with King Deuce of Diamonds.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Yeah.
Kind of an odd place to post, though.
Maybe he was the pre-flop raiser. I don't know.
Yeah, the pad played out pretty strange right now.
Well, Satish is gonna bet.
And I can't imagine Sylvester calling this, can he? Oh, he does.
Wow, King 10.
Well, they both have a gut shot.
River's a deuce. Now, does Satish just give up here? No,
No.
he bets again.
And I imagine he's going to take it down here.
Yep.
Yeah, he does.
Yep.
Well done here. Email here from David Gladstone talking about folding an overpair. And he says, here, what are some good rules of thumb to look for? To think when you have an overpair to the board. How do you know if you're good or not?
Well, the funny thing about this email is that he was saying he had been primarily playing 50-cent $1 no limit online. And folding an overpair to a board would be likely to be negative expected value in the long run. However, as he's moved up to 2, 4, and 5, 10 games, he's losing more money to sets or bigger overpairs. And, the thing is that we see, though, in the higher games here, like at the 10, 20, and the 25, 50, Barry Woods tends to call with any overpair,
Yeah.
and it's been positive expected value to him. And again, sometimes it's like those mid-level games are tougher than the big games.
Sometimes, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes the higher games don't necessarily mean the better player. It just
Right.
means they have more money.
Right. Limped around here.
Yeah, well, raised in the small blind.
Queen Jack offsuit.
Not usually a hand that I want to get more money in there out of position with, but hey, see how Sylvester does it.
Reno's got a little suited connector over there, 6-7 of hearts.
4 ways times $40. We
Yeah.
got a $160 pot.
6-2-3. Well, Reno's got top pair. Let's see if he's going to pop Sylvester here on the flop.
Well, Sylvester really playing it like he has a pocket pair.
Well, Reno just calls, and I actually have a little bit of a problem with that. I mean, even if I'm behind, you have to raise there
Raise
to
or
get
fold.
the overcards out,
It's
right?
like you don't have
you?
a draw.
Yeah.
You want to charge if anybody has clubs, and if somebody's in there with just say, ace queen.
Or
you
look
wanna
at
charge
Sonny.
them.
He's going to take off with ace-8 here.
Yeah.
He takes off with ace-8. Turns a jack.
And there you go,
Sylvester's
Sylvester's
got
got
it. He's going to bet now. And now does Reno even know where he's at?
And Roberts actually hit top pair as well.
Reno's going to call. And for example, say if Sylvester had been raising with ace-king, if Reno had raised the flop, Robert probably would have gone out. But now Robert's hit a pair.
Yeah.
And now Robert raises with jack-9. And Sylvester's
Yeah.
all in.
And if you put your opponent, let's say you have 6-7 there,
Right.
and you put your opponent on pocket 9s,
Right.
is there anything wrong with just folding? Or is the pot
Yeah.
too big to fold there? Pot's $160, only $20 to call. You're
Well,
getting
Reno's
8 to 1.
Reno's going to call the raise on the turn. Wow. Here we go to the river.
Wow, well, Sylvester doesn't get much respect in this game.
Sylvester's all in. River's an ace. It's a third club.
Well, that's got to be a scary card for everybody involved.
And this might just go check, but Sylvester's going to win the main here with Queen Jack.
Yeah, Robert wins the side pot with a pair of jacks.
Actually, you know what? Robert bet the river, and Reno called him.
Wow.
That is unbelievable. Robert's bet some marginal hands on the river.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the way Robert calls down, but I like the value bet on the river there.
Well, there wasn't really a whole lot that Reno could beat there once the club came on the river, right?
Yeah, I'm really surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you put your opponent on there?
Got about 10 minutes left in the show.
You can catch us tomorrow night, starting at 7 p.m. We'll have some sort of no-limit game.
Right.
Probably 3 to 500.
King, queen, club again.
Oh, look at Barry. Barry Woods has got a new avatar. Is that his daughter?
Where's that?
Down a little lower.
Funny thing about Barry Woods, he says, does my bluffing Bart's ass on Friday count? I asked Barry after the show, and it was just a mental block by me. I said, Barry, I only had $800 left on that hand. How could you raise me there? And he said, I didn't realize you only had that amount. If I knew you had that amount, I would have folded to your bet because he said, what idiot would fold to that type of raise with $800 left?
Well, I guess that was the thinking. Yeah,
Right.
Once he saw how much money you had left, which is what Hav and I were saying, and anybody wondering what was going on, the pot was about $4,200.
Right.
Bart only had $800 left and had
Right.
an overpair to the board. And
Well, not to the king,
right, well, the
at
king
that time, yeah.
But overpair to the flop.
Yeah.
And Barry actually bluffed you out.
Right.
But I don't think Barry realized how much money you had left, and I don't think you
I
realized
didn't
how much
either.
money you had
Yeah,
left
compared to the pot.
compared to the pot
Right.
until afterwards.
Sonny, oh wow, now Satish picks up top pair and Sonny's got a set.
Wow, the case 10 is going to get Satish in trouble here. And Satish is officially drawing dead.
Yep.
Nothing like putting money in the pot with no chance of winning.
River's a king, and now Satish makes kings up. And is he going to bet the river? And for Sonny, this is a raise, right?
Oh, definitely. Think about it. The only hand you're losing to here is 8-9.
He just calls. Oh, no, he does raise.
Okay.
And Satish re-raises.
Well, now you just call here.
Now you just call?
I think you just call this, thinking maybe the guy's got 8-9.
Satish
Right.
bet the river, Sonny raised, Satish re-raised, and then Sonny just called.
Yeah, I mean, at that point,
Yeah.
can't you put it possibly on 8-9?
That's amazing.
I mean, the guy's 3-bet me.
Right.
Get a question here on 2+2 from the station. Says, any chance we can get some Omaha high-low on Live at the Bike? Well, right now, we are working on it. We are always adding new things to our new games and so forth and new exciting features to Live at the Bike. Right now, we are working on that. And the second we can, we will let you know about it.
Yeah, I saw it. Sorry. It wasn't.
Nice little post here, a long post by Mark Summers, appreciating the fact that we have limit game on here. And he actually makes a point saying that it sucks that there really hasn't been a comprehensive no-limit cash book from 2+2, because that's where the money is now. And I want to get to that in a second here.
Yeah, it's funny. You were just talking about books in
Right.
terms of.
I'll get to that in a second here. We had a raise. Reno's going to call with pocket sevens. Actually,
Reno's
Reno's got
got
ace-4.
yeah.
Matt raised it with pocket sevens. Now, is Reno getting in trouble here? He's got a pair and an over card. Matt bets. Reno calls.
Reno's playing a little more loose than I thought he would, huh?
Turns at 10. Matt's going to continue to bet. And this one might just get checked down here on the river.
Yeah, I don't think Matthew bets the river.
River's king.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he's going to take it. And the funny thing is, now I'm going to throw this at you, in terms of value betting, when the board pairs a king on the river, and your opponent checks to you, can you bet your sevens for value?
Can you bet sevens there? Yeah, you might be able to right
I mean,
there.
you think about it. He called your flop, king 4-3. There's no reason you'd put him on a 10, right? Now the board paired king there, and he checked to me.
Right.
I'm not going to put him on trip kings, am I?
Now the thing what I was going to say about the 2+2 book, I love for limit hold'em, hold'em for advanced players, and I think I put
Sklansky's book you're
a
talking
little
about.
more credit in it than you do, because you say you can't necessarily learn poker from a book, and I know you can, but I think you can actually be a winning player by knowing that book inside out and with experience.
I actually think it's a phenomenal book,
Well,
and I'll agree with you in that sense.
Let me finish this.
Yeah.
But for if 2+2 is going to make an effort to write a no limit cash game book, more power to them. But it is absolutely going to be nowhere near as profitable or as useful as the limit hold'em book. I have to go with far. You cannot put no limit cash game strategy into a book.
No,
I don't think. I think it's not as cut and dry as limit hold'em.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
think
way.
I think no limit is more about feel and
Right.
instincts.
Yeah.
And just stuff that you really can't write down.
Right.
You've got to get that game experience.
King Jack Jack here. Satish has raised the pocket nines.
And wow,
Actually, Sonny raised, I believe. Satish called. Sonny,
and he's going to Sonny can continue betting, and Steve
Yeah.
is going to continue calling.
here we go to the river. River's a deuce. Sonny checks.
And can you bet if you're Satish? No, he's going
No,
to check it down,
he's
and
gonna
nines are
check
going
it
to be good.
Actually, I think we had to play. Game's going fast. I think we had to play a little bit backwards. I think Satish might have 3-bet the flop. Sonny just kept check calling and check calling.
Yeah, once again, our show is live and unedited, unscripted, and limit hold'em tends to go a little faster than
Right.
no limit, so
Right.
keep that in mind.
But again, like you say, you think it's an extraordinary book. I do too. It's a great place
Oh.
to start with limit hold'em. I like the small stakes book by Ed Miller as well. That other 2+2 book in terms of playing kind of drawing limit hold'em, low limit.
I actually think it's a great place to even to finish here. We got a chip down here. Matthew adding to his lead. He's probably the big winner for the night.
Yeah.
Satish also a big winner. Skalansky's book, when I was really learning how to play limit hold'em, and I started propping here and I was playing out, like I said, 30, 40 hours a week of limit hold'em, it was my Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read it probably 6 or 7 times, and I've read particular chapters over
Right.
and over again, to hone my game. And
Sylvester's made a raise here with ace-5 offsuit. Now, Joe Wynn's got ace-8 of diamonds. Is he going to get involved here? See if he 3-bets. He does 3-bet. Now, I'd rather 3-bet here than just a cold call that hand.
what's wrong with just folding it?
Well, you can fold it, too. That's usually what I do. Ace-8 of diamonds, not really that strong.
Right. I mean, ace-8 of diamonds to a raise.
And Reno's going to call here. 3-bets with his pocket sevens cold on the button. And did he cap it? Yeah, I think he might be scheming a little bit, Dave. He capped it with sevens on the button.
Wow.
Sylvester's out of there.
Yeah, limit hold'em is a haven for steamers,
Right.
isn't it? Players going on tilt. And this pot is now $80 times
Remember,
3.
though, there might have been a strategy in there with Reno because Reno and Joe check it down. So if Reno figured he could drive Sylvester out of the hand with 4 bets, and they were just going to check it down, he might want to take it heads up against Joe. Sevens.
Yeah.
So sevens are good right now.
Yeah, and this is part of. I mean, I got to be honest. Joe and Reno here. This is bordering on collusion.
Because they drove Sylvester out of the hand.
To check it down, this
Right.
is bordering on collusion. I mean, I would be very, very upset if I was.
Sylvester?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think Sylvester has a reason to gripe.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's bullshit. I'd be pissed off. I'm pissed off now. It's not even my money.
Right, right.
And that's ridiculous. You don't raise somebody else out and then check it down. That's ridiculous.
No, I'd agree with you 100%.
I mean,
agree with you 100%.
that's really, really bordering on collusion.
Yeah.
And the fact that Joe works here makes it even worse.
Button's moved over here to seat 3.
You know, you can't control somebody that doesn't work here, obviously,
Right,
but it's
right.
still, it's really bordering on collusion. But anyway, back to Limit Hold'em. I will say, if anybody wants to play Limit Hold'em at all, and you have not read Sklansky for advanced Hold'em players, go get that book.
Oh,
Because it
absolutely.
really is a fabulous read.
Now, Joe Wynn has raised here again. He's got ace-jack offsuit.
Come on, Jennifer. I get beat ace 8 of diamonds.
I can't win.
I tell you, that gets me.
You can't win.
I'm curious what people on 2+2 think about that, and let us know, because I mean, that's just, doesn't that kind of upset you?
Yeah.
You know, 3-bet, and then you get the guy out, and then you check it down? That's not right.
Well, we had a 3-bet here by seat 5. Robert 3-bet was 6-4 offsuit, and Joe called. Joe's hit top pair. And Robert's all in for 3-bet, 3 chips, and Joe's going to call. So Robert's just jamming himself all in here.
Yeah, you see a lot sometimes in Limit Hold'em where people are just trying to give
He's
their
going
money
to
away.
try to get some sort of running cards here. Well,
Well-
he's got a straight draw now.
Needs a 3.
3 and only a 3.
No, not going to do it.
Trip aces.
Get a post here from Baron Wenger Toth. He says, talking about referencing the Omaha, he says, imagine how hard it is to run a live show where they have to read and key in 2 cards per player.
Right.
Now make it another game with more cards, like Omaha, where there's
Right.
4 cards. And obviously that is part of the problem. Believe it or not, we're actually working on technology. And we're really on the cutting edge of technology here. We're working on technology where the computers will actually read the cards.
Yeah.
There'll almost be like a chip inside the cards.
Right.
You know, and when we get that technology perfected and we can work it, that'll obviously open the door to other games.
Email here from Barry Woods. He says, so Dave, bigger games don't mean better players, just those with more money? I think I'm supposed to feel insulted, but I don't. I'm still counting my money.
You know, interesting thing is, I'm not even referencing him. I wasn't even talking about him, and he takes it personal. I was actually referring to like Ken Berg, Mr. Cuckoo.
Right.
You know? Or Jerry Buss, so to speak. But hey,
This one looks like it's going to get chopped up here.
if the shoe fits, Barry,
Oh, it's going to call. It's going to not get chopped. Queen 4 against Jack 10 here.
wow.
Wow, Jack 10's flopped the nut straight.
Yeah, and
He checks. And let's see if Maury bets out with the queen. He does. Ace, king, queen on the flop here.
and Roberts rebought for a couple hundred there. What's he looking?
He's got 300. And he check raises, and Maury calls.
Wow. Maury's getting involved here.
Turns a 6.
Maury can't beat much.
And Robert bet, and Maury's going to keep calling.
Yeah, I think Maury's going to call him down the whole way. If he calls on the turn, he's not going to throw it in the river.
River's a deuce. Robert bets again, and Maury's
Yeah.
going to pay him off all the way, and Robert flopped the nuts.
Yeah, and Maury's one of those players. At least he's conscious of the fact that if I'm going to call on the turn,
Right.
I'm not. The deuce of diamonds didn't change anything.
Right. This is going to be the last hand of the night, Dave. Well, it was fun doing 24 Limit Hold'em.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Real educational, huh?
Now, tomorrow night we'll be back with probably, usually tomorrow's our 3 to 5
3
game.
to 5 game, yeah.
And if you want to play in that game, that's the toughest game to play in here now.
Yeah, come
We're
on down.
talking about like 50 people on the board for that game usually.
Yeah, get on down here at like 3
Yeah.
4 o'clock if you want to get in that game.
Yeah. Button here is in seat 5.
And if you get here at 3 or 4 o'clock, just hit up Bart. He'll buy you a massage. I get in about 5 o'clock. I'll buy you a drink. And we'll get you in the game.
Maury's in the small blind. Big blind's over there in seat 7. That's Sonny. Ace-9 offsuit here for Jennifer. Let's see if she's open. Look, she doesn't even open it for a raise, Dave. 1 off the cutoff.
Really?
She's playing it real conservative. And the button's going to raise here. Oh, he just limps in with Queen 9 of diamonds. On the button. Wow.
Okay, let's go.
So three-way action here.
And
Open
what did she have?
Ace-9 offsuit. 1 off the
Okay.
cutoff. Queen 8-6. Sonny's got top 2 pair. But look at this. The button's got top here with Queen 9.
Yeah, that's Robert, and he's going to get himself in trouble here.
He just calls the button. Is he going to raise the turn here, Robert?
Well, King 9's it's a monster.
Queen 9. Here we go to the turn. Turns a 5. Sonny's going to bet out again, I'm sure. Let's see what Robert's going to do. And there's the raise by Robert. And is Sonny, can he 3-bet here? It is kind of a connected board. He's going to 3-bet, Dave. He is going to 3-bet with Queen 8. And Robert just calls. Robert's going to need to catch a 7 or a 9 here.
Yeah.
And for his sake, not a queen. Oh, the river's a 7.
Oh,
My
wow.
goodness.
Now, can you put your opponent on a 9 here if you're Sonny? I mean, it's real difficult too, isn't it? But you can put him on the spade. It is the third spade out there. I mean, it can't be a good card if you're Sonny, right?
Wow. Sonny checks, Robert bets, and I think that Sonny's going to pay it off. But
Yeah, I think you have to here.
Yeah.
You've checked. You've induced this bluff, if it is a bluff, and it's not, obviously.
that is unbelievable stuff.
Yeah. Next, the last hand of the night.
Yeah.
Before we finish this up, I just want to we got a couple of real late emails here. And tune in tomorrow because we'll answer all these questions for you tomorrow night. Unfortunately, we don't have time tonight.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Again, join us tomorrow for a 300 to 500 no-limit hold'em game with 5 high blinds. If you want to play in the show, get down here early, 3, 4 o'clock. For everyone here in the booth and for Dave Tuckman, good night, everybody, from Live the Bike.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.